And we are back. Couch Company Podcast. I'm John. With me, as always, Tyler.
Hey, I'm Tyler. My voice just cracked.
You almost spit out all of your drink, which I was really hoping was going to happen.
That's because I was like, hey, I'm going to take a drink while you're doing the intro. I'm like, oh, crap, I have to turn the music down.
I don't know why you did that.
Funny thing is, people aren't going to know.
They are going to know.
I nailed it.
You did?
Yeah, anyone that...
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And as always, my introduction, completely different.
That's okay.
Completely different rhythm.
It's good.
I love it. You have to keep your partner ready to go.
Yeah, we're partners.
Especially when they're taking a drink.
Yeah, I don't know why. I was like, oh, I'll wet my whistle. Then I choked and I like fumbling around.
That is funny. Speaking of fumbling, the Super Bowl did happen last week.
Oh, that's a good one, yeah.
And we didn't talk about it.
Yep.
And I know you're a huge sports ball person.
Uh-huh.
But instead of talking about the game, I was actually very interested in the commercials because we talk about this idea in gaming where this is my own theory, I guess, but I feel like
who won? Kansas City?
Yeah, Kansas City.
Okay. All right, continue. Sorry.
I made a lot of money.
Did you?
Not a lot, but like a lot.
I would never have bet for them because they were on my fantasy team and then they screwed me when I played you, so.
Dude, I feel like the NFL is totally rigged and I knew they were going to win.
Yeah. Well, as long as you make, look, good. As long as you make money off it.
That's what I'm saying. Like people complain, oh, dude, the NFL's rigged, blah, blah, blah. Sports are rigged. It's like, dude, if you know what side's rigged, why don't you just make free money off of it?
Everyone's complaining about it being rigged because they're not in on it.
Exactly.
That's the only thing. If you were in on it and you were getting rich off it,
oh my God,
no one would care.
Exactly.
All right, tell me about these commercials. Sorry.
All right, so anyways, this commercial. So my theory is, at least in the gaming world, we're in this era of like remakes and stuff.
Okay.
Where you just have these old IPs that are refreshed and reimagined. And I mean, there's all sorts of variations on it, but the general consensus is like old material rehashed pretty much.
Yeah, like the kids at the time are now old enough to make more. You can milk them for more.
Yeah, I guess.
Nostalgia.
But a lot of this stuff is mature though. So it's not like, oh, these are your kid games. I mean, like Spyro's an example of like a kid game and now it's like you're grown up. But like the other ones are like Resident Evil and Dead Space just came out, right? Those are like
fair.
Those are like rated M.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So anyway, so it's like you were an adult theoretically, and now you're even more of an adult.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the Super Bowl commercials I thought were really interesting because I saw a lot of commercials had the same principle applied to it.
Okay.
Where it was like these old either commercials or properties that were rehashed into like, hey, remember this? Things were great when this happened. Like
Breaking Bad? Is that what you're getting at?
Breaking Bad was one.
Yeah.
Grease was another. They had what's his face?
I missed Grease.
Sing one
John
of the
Travolta?
John Travolta was singing Summer Nights from Grease.
What?
With the two guys from Psych. You ever see that show?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it was like whatever they're doing. They're doing like T-Mobile now, I think. Hashtag sponsored.
Right. And they're well, no, wait. Are there two guys from Psych or from
am I mixing up
Scrubs?
shows?
You're thinking Scrubs,
I'm
probably.
thinking Scrubs. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Not Psych. I'm sorry.
I was like, I would be into Psych. I like Psych.
Yeah, that was a good show.
Yeah.
Scrubs is also a good show, though.
Scrubs probably better. Yeah.
I don't know if it's better. Anyways,
I'm just kind of...
I apologize. It was the two guys from Scrubs.
Yeah.
And John Travolta comes in. He's singing, and they all sing like Summer Nights. I think it's Summer Nights from Grease.
Yeah.
There was another one where Serena Williams just straight up rips off Any Given Sunday, the locker room speech that what's his face gives? Al Pacino.
I don't even know what that is.
So the movie's called Any Given Sunday. It's a football movie, and he gives like a locker room speech at halftime, and he's like, "It's the inch speech. Like, it only takes an inch or whatever. Like, we got to claw and fight our way for that inch. Blah blah blah." If you saw it, you'd know it. Anyways, it's literally just Serena Williams plagiarizing the speech.
Yeah,
I mean, I understand. It's like, it's a nod to it. It's not ripping it off. Well, I mean, it is ripping it off.
If it's word for word, it's kind of
no. It was literally word for word. Anyways. And then there was like this other one where it's like, oh man, I forget what the commercial was for, but it was a music one where it was just like a bunch of old tunes as a jingle for the product. I wish I had more details on that one. It was like, hey, we need a jingle for this product. And it was some musician, I forget who it was. And they're like, okay, we'll see what we can do. And then it was all these famous tunes. Yeah. But they changed the lyrics to fit for the product.
Uh-huh.
It my point is, it was just rehashing.
And it's crazy because
the
I
material.
was going through like the YouTubes being like, all right, what are like the top commercials for 2023 or whatever, you know? And like everything you just said, like I don't think I saw a single one of those.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the Breaking Bad one.
Yeah, sure, the Breaking Bad one, because that was,
But that was,
I would
that was
argue
cool.
probably the best one, and it
was great.
wasn't even that good though.
It was like, hey, remember Breaking Bad? And we're
Yeah,
like,
but
yeah,
it wasn't
that was
like
great.
it wasn't good and clever or funny. Like honestly,
No, it was-
the funniest one so far was the Curb Your Enthusiasm from I guess what last year when he's going through and he's like, nah, I don't think so. Whatever they're like trying to.
Especially since it was for FTX and now they're in trouble.
Well, yeah, now they're in. Sure,
And you-
but
and Larry,
but it was
and
funny.
Larry David was like, the point was Larry David's always wrong about these
Yeah,
things.
and it turns
out he's
yeah.
right.
But
Sorry.
that adds to the humor. That's a very
Yeah.
that's like
Oh, yeah,
another level of comedy.
Right.
But like that's been my favorite one that I've seen in a long time.
Oh, I
Like-
think. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just like I was looking through them and it was just like these are just bad. Like they're not even. They're going almost like the Ryan Reynolds route of like pay a celebrity and just have them say, "Hi, I'm this celebrity," right?
Right.
So what was the one? Martin,
Sheen.
not Sheen. Who was the SNL guy?
I don't know.
It might not even be Martin. I don't know. But he was the guy.
If you ask me who the guy is, there's a very high percentage chance I don't know. I'm very bad with pop
Okay,
culture.
Ben. Well, they did multiple. So like Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
For Pepsi.
Yep.
You know, and they're just like, oh, am I acting or am I not acting?
Oh, right,
Who was
yeah.
who was the other guy? They did two of them.
For Pepsi, that's for Pepsi.
Yeah. Crap.
I don't know.
I
can't
can't think
remember.
of his name.
Sorry.
That's all right. Research department has to get on. You know.
He's got us. We're getting the text right now.
Oh, it's that guy. Right. Thank you.
Thank
so anyway, but it's this thing of like, oh, am I just kidding? You'll have to try Pepsi to find out if I'm just acting. It's like you're just saying how you're acting this entire time. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, it's really good. But am I acting? It's like, yeah, you're acting. Diet Pepsi isn't good. Like, I like it, but it's not good. I understand this.
It's like all meta stuff, right? Like it's all
I
fourth
hate it.
wall breaks and kind of the opposite of what we talked about with our Hi-Fi Rush review, right? Like
yeah,
Hi-Fi
like you're
Rush
over the line. Yeah,
skirts that line perfectly.
yeah.
And then that's what everyone's trying to capture and they can't do it. They go over
They're
it. And
lazy.
it's cringe.
They're lazy.
Yes.
They're just like, we got him. He's gonna do the Zoolander face. That's fine.
Right.
And they do it, and it's like it's just a bad thing.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you have Ryan Reynolds who just does his like, hey, we're saving money to do like that. At least has a meaning for it, right? It's like, hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. I'm gonna take this stock photography or whatever and make this commercial because we're trying to show you that we're saving money. Whether they're doing it or not, who cares? The commercial is good because the idea is good,
Right.
And then everyone else just like, I don't know. We spent $70 million on this 30-second ad for
Yeah.
this guy. It's so.
I was talking to my dad about it because I always watch the game with my dad. And I feel like we're at a point where the hype is so incredibly high for the Super Bowl commercials because there's just this legend about how funny they are and stuff that
Right.
it's just like, I feel like the expectations are impossible to meet. But I also feel like it's super lazy because people are just like, all right, we're never going to meet these expectations. So let's just
right.
throw it in. You know what I mean?
Just
throw a dart at
this
the board.
name will get clicks.
It has to work.
Like you'll see a person's face and be like, "Oh my gosh, is it like Zoolander? Was there a second Zoolander?
I don't know.
Was there Zoolander 3? Like whatever. Like it's just like,
Oh,
is it Zoolander 3?
yeah,
I
I
don't
see.
know. It's just a commercial. I don't know.
You know what I was finding out as well is that there were like all these QR codes now.
Oh really?
Yeah, maybe not a lot, but I did see a couple because I think maybe either last year or a year before that, like there was just one commercial that was just a QR code bouncing like the DVD logo,
Oh, okay.
and it was one of the most popular.
People had to know.
Yeah, I think it was a crypto thing. They're all scams, but it was clever. So
Yeah.
I think more people were trying to get in on that. So we might see more of that in the future. That's my
I noticed,
professional opinion.
A lot of ads on Hulu. If you're a scrub and get the free version or the $2 version or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But they have the commercials and you see it and it's like almost like a cutout, but then they have like a static version of the ad. So like you're watching the commercial and almost like this picture in picture thing. And then you have like the logo of the ad what it's like selling you in a QR code. So if you just want to sit on your ass and like shop from your TV, you can kind of like zoom in on your phone and do the QR code. It's weird.
I told you, dude, the day we are able to, you're watching a game and it's sponsored by companies for sports betting.
Yeah.
And it's just like, hey, do you think they're going to score here? Hey, do you think this field goal is going to be made? It
Hit
just
the
pops
red button
up
or the green button.
and you have your card on the, it's over.
You're done.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's done.
I wonder how quick that would get just shut down immediately.
Well, there's already legislation to stop this stuff because sports betting is like spreading like wildfire. And I believe what they've just passed or are trying to pass is something along the lines of decreasing the minimum requirement that you make to file a tax form. Like there's a certain threshold, like anything under you make at a certain amount,
right?
You don't have to file a form, but they're trying to decrease that. So,
well, that was the same thing with like your penny stocks and like your Robin Hoods and stuff like that too. But yeah. Any fun thing, like you got to keep the wealthy, the poor. Like keep that divide, man.
Oh yeah,
you can't be lucking out and making $1 million on sports betting. That's
not even that. I don't
political.
I don't even know if it's that, right? Like you're not going to win sports betting in the long run.
In the long run, but you have a couple people that would.
I really do think it's to discourage just betting in general, or kind of deter people who are maybe on the fence about it. So like they feel like it's not worth it,
or it's like making people that do that for a living, like maybe it's something where like the odds start shifting.
No, because if you do it for a living, you are betting enough money where you're filing those forms regardless.
No, I know that, but what I'm saying is...
It's for the casual person.
But what I'm saying is if you have these people like paying out, and it used to be like 10 guys and they're all betting on Kansas City and then they got a payout and it was a big payout. But now there's like 100,000 people betting for Kansas City. Wouldn't the payout be less?
Because of the taxes?
Not for the taxes, just like somebody doesn't want to pay out to 100,000 people. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, I feel like these companies are pretty regulated. I feel like they have to
I
gone are the days of going to the mob.
Yeah.
That's how you bet on sports.
Is that not how that works?
No.
Oh, I think everything's the mob.
Everything's corporate now.
Yeah.
Because, dude, casinos used to be like mob run.
Yeah.
And now it's like corporation. What would you rather have, though? What's the lesser of the two evils?
Oh.
You know what I mean?
This is a good segue.
Okay. Because like on the one hand, like the mob, they are not defined by the law. They'll kill you.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're more flexible and they're not as soul-crushingly heartless and fucking...
You're right.
Like corporations aren't human.
I would say the mob,
You know what I mean?
Mob is like...
Not that the mob is nice. But...
Fair? Is that
quotations? I guess. My thing was, you watch all these mob movies and all these mob TV shows, and it's like, dude, why would you take a loan from a mobster if you knew you couldn't pay him back?
Well, that's silly.
That's silly.
Yeah.
That's where the addiction part comes in.
But what I'm saying is, like, if I went in there and it's like, I guess I don't know, because are you just stealing from people at that point?
Do you think it's like credit card companies? Where it's like, me, for example, I have pretty good credit.
Yeah.
And I would assume you do as well.
Yeah. My credit just went up.
We're not the ones that keep the credit card businesses in business, right?
No, I'm sure they hate us.
No, they like reward us, which is weird, but
do they really though? I
think so. I have a lot of points.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But I guess that's not tied to credit. But.
Yeah, well, for instance, like, do you pay everything off?
Right away? I pay every month. I pay it off completely. And
but that's not good.
But they extend my credit limit. Maybe they're trying to coax me.
They're trying to coax you in a big purchase that it's going to take you more than a month to pay it off and get that interest. Baby.
Fair.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's not us. It's people that
need it to survive, and then they just feed off of them.
Well, not even that. It's that they get behind, and you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And then exactly what you said, the interest, and that's where they make the big bucks. So maybe it's a similar. The reason I bring that up, maybe it's similar for the mob. Where it's like, there's a decent number of people that pay them back on time and everything like that, but it's those guys who...
Would I go to a mob casino? Absolutely.
Absolutely?
Yeah.
No way.
Would I ask for a credit line through a mob? Probably not.
Oh my God. I feel like the mob's interest rates are fucking disgusting. Though.
Yeah, like 3 kneecaps and 20% or something.
Because you go to the mob when credit companies shut you down, right?
Yeah.
That's your last resort.
Yeah. I feel like they would crush both of your legs
Yeah.
and then they would find your closest person who
Yikes.
can get their leg.
That is extremely dark.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to clarify that when I say 3 kneecaps, I know humans
How
don't
much
have more
APR percentage is worth a kneecap, like per kneecap?
Well, how quickly can you heal?
A
4 to 6
shattered
weeks?
kneecap? I have no idea. Probably longer than that. If it's shattered,
Shattered kneecap?
let's look it up. Let's go to our first research department.
All right.
Just kidding. I don't have
Even
chat
6 to 8
GPT.
6 to 8 weeks. So you could get your kneecap shattered 7 times if you heal completely quickly. But then obviously every time you heal, it gets worse and worse. Didn't we talk? I feel like we've talked about this before.
From a kneecap?
Yeah, like you have it's like a either or would you rather get your knee broken like every 6 weeks or 8 weeks or something?
It says 3 to 6 months to recover from a broken kneecap.
3 to 6 months?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. But it
Ugh.
depends on the severity.
Okay, so
So
then
if they
the APR
totally,
would be,
absolutely destroy your leg, which I'm sure they're going to be thorough.
yeah,
I think they enjoy that work.
oh
I don't want to speak for them,
yeah.
but
So so APR would be 2 kneecaps a year just out of necessity, right?
kneecaps a
Well,
year.
technically 4 because I guess you could lose both kneecaps.
I love how much effort we're devoting to this.
I don't even know how we got here. We're talking about
Football
commercials.
Football rigged.
Yeah.
Mob.
Okay.
Well, football rigged. Sports betting. Mob.
Godfather?
Kneecaps. Godfather. That's a movie.
Yeah.
And also your assignment for this
My
week.
assignment, yeah.
So tell us about The Godfather.
You were
Part one.
preparing yourself. So we assign out up to 150 hours over the course of a year for each other. We're each at 143.5 now. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, so I created a chart just to keep track.
Yeah.
I think the audience can view that in Notion, right? Do they have access to our Notion or no? Or is it just the top 5?
It's just the top 5, but we can
Okay, never
make
mind.
that.
No, we don't have to.
Well, I'll do it. I'll do it. It's fine.
Yes, we're at 143.5 hours remaining. I hope it made sense on there because I said Tyler's remaining hours.
Yeah.
And that's not the hours you have to allot. That's the hours I'm giving you. Does that make sense?
It did.
That's your watch hours.
It did. Do you have it like some formula on there? Is that how you're doing it?
What do you mean?
Or are you just
Oh no, I
subtracting
was
it
manually.
yourself,
I could put a formula probably on there, but there was just 3 so far, so I just did it manually.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Also, I was in Google Sheets or whatever.
Oh, you're just porting it over.
Well, I don't think I have Microsoft on my.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, we can. Well, I can get something. I'll design something for the actual site,
Okay.
and it should be able to port whatever you have in Notion over. Or if you want to use
Well, if
Google
we
Sheets,
want to
you
use
can port it
Notion,
over.
whatever is easier for you. Anyways, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
The point is, you watched The
I watched
Godfather
Godfather.
this week.
Yeah.
The greatest movie of all time.
The
but
greatest movie of all time.
I won't put that in your mouth.
Yeah.
Those are not your words. Those are mine.
Yeah.
All right,
What do
break
I
my-
say about the?
Break my heart.
Okay.
It's a shame you didn't watch the second one because that's a quote in the second one.
Break my heart.
You broke my heart, Fredo. He grabs him.
First off, Godfather might be the greatest movie of all time.
What?
Yeah.
No. You're
So-
trolling me. You're trolling me.
So I'm watching it, and I'm trying.
Fucking
I'm
trolling.
trying to I actually wanted to tell you. I was gonna tell you how much I loved the movie, but I didn't want to spoil it for you.
You're
So
trolling.
I'm being dead serious.
You're not.
I'm being dead
I
serious.
do not believe you.
No, I'm being dead serious.
Wow.
So I was watching it, and first off, there's a chance that we watched Godfather 2 in history class because I do not remember like 80% of that movie of
Really?
Godfather 1.
Okay.
Does he wear a white suit a lot in Godfather 2? Or does he wear a white suit at all in
There's
Godfather
probably a
2?
white suit because they go down. I think Godfather 2 is when they go down to Cuba.
Okay. Is Godfather 2 good?
Yes.
Like, is that
Yes.
okay? All right.
Because here's the thing. I think someone needs to correct me if I'm wrong. So research department, get on this if I'm incorrect. But I believe these were books originally.
Originally, yeah, I don't know.
And I think they were adapted from books. I don't know why I feel like that, but I feel like it was. So anyways, the reason I bring that up is because I believe 1 and 2 were based off the source material, but then they made a Godfather 3, which there was no more material. So they were kind of on their own, and that's why that one's way worse than the first two. Now,
okay.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're based off books. I will look it up just to confirm, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm watching this thing. I think they do a fantastic job setting everything up. Characters are compelling. The names, I was shocked that I actually kind of like followed, because I'm not saying they have weird names, but it's like they're Italian names, and it's just like I'm starting to mix people up, and I'm just like, wait a minute, is it this guy? Or they got Caprese or whatever, and it's like okay. Couldn't tell you what the names are now, but during the movie, I was following it, and it was just like I thought I knew what was going to happen at any point, and it was just completely different. Like where it's like, oh, he's getting fruit, okay, and I'm like, oh, he's going to take out the guy's and then they just freaking gun down the Godfather, and I'm just like, what? Like, it's like I don't remember that at all. And it's like halfway through the movie or like an hour in and stuff. And it was pretty interesting. I did not recognize Al Pacino for the first part of the movie. Completely forgot he was in it. So in my mind, I was like, who is this guy? And then whenever it clicked for me, and I texted you, I was like, he's starting to look more and more like Al Pacino as the movie goes on. So at first I'm like, I don't know who this guy is, but okay, he's a good guy. He's going to be the guy that takes down the mob or whatever.
Wait, what?
Well, he's like, this is my family, but it's not my family. I'm like, oh, okay, I see how this is going to go. Like he's going to. So
you've never seen this?
Apparently not.
You've never seen this movie.
But I've seen, I guess, enough scenes from it or something that I just pieced together a completely fictional version of this movie.
It might have aided you.
Maybe.
Or it aided me and you liking it more.
I don't know.
Okay.
But it was very, very good.
Yeah.
I think everything was well done. If I had to like gripe about a couple things, it would be like the fighting, where he's like smacking him around and stuff, and it's just like he's missing half his punches and stuff like this. It's kind of funny.
Right.
But the emotion was there. All the acting was really good. It was just like, it was really, really well done. Obviously there are some parts that are a little cringe when it comes to like how you treat women and how you speak about people of color and things like that. It's dated. Well, that's the thing, is I didn't know how much of it was dated, which in the 70s probably is just that time and place.
Yeah.
How much of it was dated, how much of it was like the time period that it was trying to.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I'm not 100% sure. It might be part of that, right? They're trying to showcase that this is a period film, and
well, the way they were talking about like some like I guess like African American gang or something,
right,
in a certain area. It was like the way that they were talking about it. It almost looked like the actors were even just uncomfortable saying those lines. So we're just like, ooh, okay.
Well, that's very much the mob, though, right? Like they're very racist.
Oh yeah, no, and like I mean, they were slinging slurs left and right and stuff, and I get that.
Yep.
I thought it was interesting as far as like, hey, we don't want to be part of like the drug business and stuff like that. Yeah. Where it's like, I feel like even now that seems pretty common in like bad people movie things, where it's like, oh, we've been running guns forever, and or it's like, oh, we only do drugs. We don't want to run guns. Guns are too, I forget what was that, like Sons of Anarchy or something.
Sure.
So I thought it was funny how similar it was that more current shows that I've watched or movies that I've watched are just like directly pulling like essentially the same thing from arguably one of the greatest movies made. Do I think that that's like in my so it's weird, because do I think that's in my like top 10 movies of all time? I don't know. Recency bias and everything says it's pretty good. I consider it one of the best movies ever made, just because it's like, I don't know what would you change on it? Like, how could you make it better, worse, whatever? It was crazy. One thing is like, I don't know. I mean, it's 1970. I'm going to spoil some of this, I guess. But like when he's like his wife, like he gets married in wherever the heck he was. Italy. Oh, is that where he was? Italy? Oh, okay. I don't know why I thought he was in like Mexico or something. I thought I was in Mexico.
No.
I guess that makes sense why
They're
everyone
all
was speaking Italian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
look, I thought that maybe they found the only Italian family. It was just like serendipitous,
you might be right.
in Little Mexico. but he gets his wife.
thought they were in Mexico.
Well, I didn't like Ecuador or something. I don't know.
Go ahead.
But he what was I just watching that was Ecuador? It was like Prison Break or something. Chelsea was watching. It's like, that's not a good show.
Prison Break?
Prison Break's a bad show.
My friend really loves like the first
season.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
I would check in occasionally, and it's just like,
Yeah.
it's so bad.
I think
Anyway.
he said the same thing. Yeah.
Well, like, okay, this is a huge detour, but real quick with Prison Break. The first season, he literally tattoos
The
an
map.
entire plan on his body.
Yeah.
The guy loses a hand. The girl gets killed. The all these things, right? And by the end of the show, he gets laser removal on the tattoo, so he could like walk around without having to like, I guess, do the makeup on his, and like it's a new tattoo or something. The guy gets a prosthetic hand that just like some mysterious benefactor gives him his hand back, so he could just use it.
Yep.
It's like all the character building from the first. They just anyway,
It's Thor from in Infinity War.
where they just change. Like,
Well, he has
everything,
all these things they build up during Ragnarok.
and then they just like
Done.
whoop, yeah.
Up, you get your eye back. Up, you get
Yeah,
this. and
exactly.
that. Yeah. That's anyways.
Sucks. Anyway, Godfather was really good, but it's funny how he got married. It was like, oh, this is kind of nice. It kind of did his old wife dirty, but whatever. And or not old wife, but like his girlfriend dirty. He was like sent her away, and then it was like, I want you, and then like married her.
Very mob.
Yeah, right.
I suppose.
And then she just gets murdered. And then it's like that scene, and then the very next scene, you see him going back to his old girlfriend, like, hey, I want to get married. It's like, what? Like that was a disconnect for me.
Well,
personally.
I think in that sort of culture, like the Italian mob thing, it's all about creating an error and
Sure.
starting a family, right?
Yeah,
like
with the masculine child and
that's
everything.
the root of
yeah.
it, right? So I think that's what it's highlighting there.
I get it. I just like that it was that in the fight scene were the two things that I was just like,
Yeah, that's fair.
maybe just a quick bridge, just like a quick mourning period. Like, that sucks. I guess I'll go back to the old dame, or whatever.
But I think it's how cold he is. It's just business. It's just, that's it.
Yep.
Like,
Everyone was very like polite about it, where it's just like, hey, it's like, but can you get me off the hook, man? Like, I know I sold you up the river, but
Yeah.
he's like, nah, I can't do that, man. Get in the car. We're just gonna go kill you now.
Yep. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
There's something about
good.
organized crime that just makes for an amazing spectacle.
Well, I like a lot of that stuff was coming back to me because we had like that was part of our social studies class was like understanding like, okay, what is like with like a consigliere.
Consigliere?
Yeah, you know what it is.
No, I don't.
Well, it's like this, like the
I know what
second
you're
hand, a
saying.
war one, like
Yep.
all like that was all kind of flooding back.
Right.
So it's like, oh, like going to the mattresses. Like I knew all that stuff, so I was like, I had to have watched this movie. But I'm sitting there watching, and I'm like, I don't remember anything. And granted, high school was quite a few years ago, but still,
Yeah.
you would feel like for something like that, it would be like, oh, I remember this being a fantastic movie, and I just didn't. So I had to have watched the second one.
Interesting.
Like I remember the horse head. Like,
Yeah.
like that was great and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
Dude, there's so many just iconic scenes. And
Yeah.
to me, I am very similar with your approach to it because it is number 10 on my top 10. So it does make my top 10, but barely.
Yeah.
Because it's not my favorite movie of all time, but I just respect it so much
Right.
and understand the value of that movie, how it's shot, the acting in it, the story itself, which, by the way, it was a book first. So I was
Okay.
correct. I
All
did
right.
look it up. First novel was written in 69.
So
Not
that
96.
doesn't make sense.
That was dyslexia. 1969 by Mario Puzo. Anyways, yeah, it's just an iconic film. I just can't think of another film that is just that important to the landscape of filmmaking.
Yeah.
So-
like you have did they really swear in that movie? Like I feel like
A little bit,
did
maybe.
they? Maybe I was just so desensitized from it because it's like it's not a Departed,
Oh no! Oh
You
my
know,
god!
like-
No, they don't. I don't think there's an F.
but there's
bomb.
nudity. There's nudity in there.
Yeah.
Is it PG-13? I guess it'd have to be PG-13.
No, it's
right?
got to be rated R.
Oh, there's a lot of violence. Yeah.
It has to be rated
Yeah,
R.
no,
They
you're right,
Show
you're right,
people
you're right.
fucking dying. But a rated R back then is much different than a rated R now, right?
Yeah.
You could do That could be PG-13 today.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of blood.
Dude, PG-13 pushes it. Or like whatever the next step up is, but not quite R.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I forget what it is. Like maybe it's like
NC-17.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am shocked you liked it.
I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was going to be a snooze fest. Like I honestly thought, I was like, all right, this is a 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
And to be honest, and don't like I stayed awake for that like easier than 7.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
That's
I liked
incredible.
it. I liked it significantly more than
7 just got my heart
7 was
pumping.
good.
So it was like,
Yeah.
like I told you, like my first experience with 7, I was sweating profusely
Yeah.
in my bed and just like did not know what was going to happen because I had no spoilers for that at all. I had no idea.
Did you ever see The Bone Collector with not Harrison Ford? Crap. What's
You were really blanking today. I've never seen the movie. Though, I don't know.
Who was the guy from Remember the Titans?
Oh boy.
I want to say
Which guy?
I want to say Dwayne Johnson, the black dude.
Oh,
Like one of the biggest name, Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington.
Man.
Wow, really?
I kept saying Dwayne Johnson. I don't know, Denzel Washington.
Denzel, yeah.
But it's The Bone Collector.
Yeah.
And it's about him being bedridden.
Okay.
And he has to solve this crime. And he can't go anywhere. So his like he has like a woman cop or something that he like takes under his wing and like she solves it for him through him.
Okay. I think I'm familiar with it. I believe I'm familiar. I've never seen it though.
Anyway, the way that's suspenseful, I put that in the same league as like 7, where it's like, giving my track record, it's probably rated like a. Are you on IMDb right now?
No, but I am.
Should check out Bone Collector on there. It's probably like super low rated.
Do you think so?
Probably because I enjoyed it. That's how I roll.
Yikes!
What's the score on it?
I don't know. I'm looking something else
right.
up, but I will check.
Anyways, Godfather, very very good. I would have to sit down and actually really do a deep kind of soul searching of what are my actual like top 10 movies. I don't think it makes it. I feel like there's a bunch of movies that I would rather just watch it, or I would stop and watch it at a given point. Because that's the other thing with Godfather. I don't think I would like flip that back on and like rewatch it anytime soon. You know?
I don't either. Right? It's not a movie that you sit down and just it's easy to consume. It's an experience.
Yeah.
It's like a Lord of the Rings-esque. Like this is we're sitting down and we're watching The Godfather today.
It sucks because I watched the first hour on my lunch break. And I was like, all right, well, like it's a 3-hour movie. I didn't know what we were doing.
That's when I thought you were gonna hate it.
No.
It's like, oh, Tyler's watching this like John, like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
at a time.
and
It's
I
like,
hate watching movies that way, but it actually helped me. Like I was like,
Interesting.
okay, like I was very excited. It was almost like I was like forcing it as an episodic TV show. It was like a 3-part miniseries.
Yeah.
I was pretty intense.
Well, in the theatrical release of it, there was an intermission.
Oh yeah, back when they did those,
and it might have been one of the first ever to have like maybe not, maybe I'm making that up, but I feel like it was a long movie.
Sound of Music I think had one. I think Gone with the Wind had one.
Yeah, I feel like that was definitely a made up stat, but
Maybe Titanic.
It sounds good. It sounds right.
Did Titanic have one?
Titanic was after.
No, but I thought Titanic had an intermission. I could be wrong.
Really? I don't know.
think so.
I didn't see it in theaters, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, people now, you don't need to do anything. Like you're in giant, comfy, lounging chairs where like all the food is just brought to you. Like, what do you need an intermission for?
No,
You
exactly.
sit there, pee in a cup. Anyway,
The Bone Collector got a 6.7 on IMDb.
Okay, you know what? That's okay.
Angelina Jolie is the girl.
Is she?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
I gotta watch that. That's hilarious.
I might throw that on the. It was okay. I don't know if I want to burn
It's
it.
okay.
If we're getting by like to the end of the year, I might start throwing some wild cards.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm sure you have some more important stuff to throw my way.
I do. Speaking of so originally I wanted you to watch V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
I think that's still on the docket. You need to watch that show if you're
I've
if
heard
you haven't seen it.
Fantastic things.
Yeah.
And I got super excited the other day because I was on my anime list and there's like a discussion forum. And my favorite anime ever is Code Geass.
Yeah.
And there was a Code Geass thread that was like, hey, you guys like this anime? You should watch V for Vendetta. I was like,
really?
What?
Oh.
So now I'm very excited.
So I don't even have to burn. So
You might
really,
not
I don't have to burn.
You might not, because I was like, wait, what? These are similar? Like, I'm very
pretty
curious
good.
now.
Yeah,
So, anyways.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, so no, you were gonna give me V for Vendetta, which is apparently a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
What did you give me instead, Tyler?
I texted you and I was like, hey, first off, did you watch it? And you're like, nope. And I'm like, all right. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is something that you need to experience. The way I'm looking at this, and already by your face, I'm like, okay. You kept saying that this is like in retaliation for Freddy Got Fingered, right?
Seemed that way, but
yeah. I take a lie detector test, whatever. I have watched that movie so many times and love that movie so much. For instance, like Quartermain, like the main character, right?
Sean Connery.
That would like the Wolfmane, which was originally my Xbox thing, that was based off of Quartermain.
Wait, what?
So originally I put Quartermain in as my Xbox gamer tag. That's how much I liked League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It said, what about Wolfmane instead? And then someone else took Wolfmane, and then I ended up getting Wolfengard. Yeah.
Wow, I never did the origin of that.
But that's how much I like this movie. Is it a good movie?
Okay,
no.
okay. No, go ahead. No, I want to hear your defense of this part.
Is it a good movie? Yeah. No. It's just a fun, dumb thrill ride that brings all these weird storybook characters together to do some outlandish things.
Right. Okay, so my task was to watch The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, or League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I don't know if there is a the, but regardless, I really, and I want to emphasize this, I attempted to come into this project with a clean slate, a unbiased mindset. I really did, because IMDb was telling me not to watch this movie, and the rest of the internet and my friends. But
yeah,
regardless of all that, I tried to come into it. So I was like, okay, so let's start with the good. Okay, there's some good things. There's a lot of action in this movie, so I feel like there's a lot of action that gets the testosterone going a little bit.
A lot of gunfire.
A lot of gun fights, and they are fighting each other.
Yeah.
So that's something. And I also like the premise of it. So it's based on a graphic novel, and I'm actually really curious. Is the graphic novel very popular? Was it actually?
I would assume if it made a movie.
Yeah, right. I have no idea. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. So if they made a movie on it, I would assume the graphic novel was pretty good.
Yeah.
So the premise is there. Like, this could be very good, right? And I do like the idea of the characters.
Yeah.
How they're, Jekyll and Hyde, and so that was cool.
20,000 Leagues on. Look, when Captain Nemo pops out, he's like, "Hey, I'm Captain Nemo." And it's like, okay, well, hey, you have a sordid past, and he's like, "Shut up." Oh, no, I don't.
That's about the extent of the acting. Right. But yeah, no, it's cool. I think it's a cool dynamic. Like, the group is interesting, and
got the Invisible Man. How cool is that? Where it's like it's some cool effects. From
he was one of the better ones, actually.
Or whatever.
He was one of the better ones.
2001. Yeah.
You talk about treating women, though. Oh my god.
Well, okay,
guys, it's not hold up. Okay, so there are a couple of good things. This movie's horrible. It really is. I can kind of fathom how, like, if you watched this when you were young, like, it's just a very big nostalgia trip for you, because there's like a lot of iconic scenes, I guess, but they're bad.
Yeah.
All right, let's get down the list here. The cinematography was pretty awful. This movie was not shot well, and it was
Continue.
Look, I'm not an expert, but even I could tell the fights, while there are a lot of fights and they're very action packed, I can't tell what the fuck's going on in half of them, dude. Mm-hmm. It's like, I hate the blurry fighting stuff, but I don't even think it was an artistic choice. I just think it was really poorly shot.
I think you have old Sean Connery, and they're like, well, we got to make him look somewhat efficient. Because, like, I mean, a lot of that has to be, like, it's him, right? Like,
but he doesn't do a lot of close combat. He's usually shooting people.
Yeah.
But he can't run, he can't dive. It's like Harrison Ford in Episode 7. It's like, oh,
just like, all right, like, how do we here? Yeah,
we got to put him in situations where he doesn't have to.
Yeah, because if he did move like a younger guy, it's like, well, that takes you right out,
right?
As if the rest of the movie wasn't already
right.
Anyway, I understand. Go ahead.
It was shot pretty terribly, and the effects weren't great. The special effects weren't great. So there's that.
For 2000, what else came out in 2003? I guess Lord of the Rings. But aside from Lord of the Rings,
Really? We're gonna go down that fast? I can look up the top 2003 movies.
I
if you
guess
want.
like Star Wars maybe. When did Star Wars?
When
come
did
out?
Star Wars come out? 70s? Well, that's crazy. Anyways,
yeah.
the extra effects or special effects were bad. The dialogue was so awful and cringe. It was so bad. And there's this one scene in particular. It is one of those things that it tells you and does not show you. It tells you exactly what the meaning behind this is. So one example of this is Quartermain has a conversation with someone, and it's this metaphor about how he's a tiger and tigers are the most fierce when they're about to die or something. And then they're on Hoth pretty much. They're on the snow planet or whatever. They're in the snowy bit.
Oh yeah,
When they're in the cave.
Yeah.
And Sean Connery's like out to take and watch, and literally a tiger walks up.
A white tiger. I completely
Doesn't
forgot
attack
about
him, and then so you're like, okay, that's the metaphor. That's already cringe, by the way, but that's the metaphor. Okay, but no, the characters have to come out and have a conversation about. You see that tiger attack, and Sean Connery's like, yeah, I guess maybe that's not the truth after all. It was so bad.
that. Okay. Name another. I completely forgot about that scene. That's
and then it was like another one was like the most stereotypical cheesy like in the beginning. So Quartermain has this like father-son relationship with this FBI agent who is like
who is A Walk to Remember.
Yeah.
What's his face?
I don't know.
Shane West.
A young Shane West.
Young Shane
A
West.
youngin'.
He
Anyways,
did that movie. He did A Walk to Remember, and he did a cameo in Ocean's 11. And that's all I've seen of Shane West.
so there's like this father-son relationship between them, and Quartermain saves him in the beginning or something, and he's like, you gotta always keep your eyes open or something like that. And then there's just this super cheesy like he saves him at the end.
Yeah.
But oh my god. And it's like it's just so bad. Anyways, the dialogue's terrible. It's very terrible. Oh my god, the sex scene, that's so cringe.
The sex scene?
Yeah, when the guy who lives forever fucks the vampire.
Oh, yeah.
That's so cringe.
Yeah.
It's just like they're just talking and then they start banging. And then he like brings it up.
They're so bored though. You know what I
True.
mean? Like that's
fair.
the thing is it's just like they both live forever where it's just like I guess we'll do this thing.
They're fighting at the end of the movie and he stabs her. And he's like, didn't think this is how I would stab you a second time.
Look, I don't see what's wrong. You're just making this movie that much better.
It's so funny, man.
Okay, but here's the thing.
I was laughing. All right.
It's a bad movie. Oh, you have more stuff.
Yeah, I do. Okay, sorry. So dialogue's terrible. Acting's very bad as well. I don't think it's just the dialogue. I think the acting's just terrible. First of all, this is a very Sean Connery thing, but I can never understand what that guy's saying.
Yeah.
But he's probably one of the better ones.
Oh, acting wise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the better ones. The Invisible Man's actually pretty good. And then the guy who lives forever is a good actor.
See, I thought Nemo was good.
Yeah, Nemo was okay.
He was fine. He was mysterious. He did
The
little.
FBI dude, Shane, what's his face?
Look, Shane West is
terrible.
not. Yeah.
He was young.
He's not.
But he was bad.
Mandy Moore kind
The
of.
vampire is bad.
up.
Jekyll and Hyde.
That was okay.
Is kind of
You got some.
yeah, but also talking about the woman.
Yeah.
Like everyone's harping on this girl like she's a piece of meat, man. It's so awkward.
It's 2003.
It is 2003.
Like, it's bad.
It's not good.
I'm not saying it holds up perfectly.
It's like, oh, we have one girl in our party.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to bang her.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
The only,
But,
and this
hey.
isn't me defending that because it's obviously not, it is very cringe, but she holds her own.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
she,
no,
she can.
It could have been worse. It could have been worse. So I don't think the acting was great. The
Sure.
pacing, though,
Yeah.
was the worst part of this movie. It starts off like the premise is set up like the Germans are the bad guys or something. I don't even know.
The Germans are always
They're always the bad guys,
The
especially in
German
2003.
Russians. Yeah.
And then you get Quartermain, and then you establish the League of Gentlemen, okay? And then there's all these fights, and we're getting all the members.
Mm-hmm.
Now we get the members. Now we get on the ship, the Nautilus. And the only reason I remember that is because that's champion in League of Legends. And then we
that's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
I know,
Okay,
but
all right.
I know it from League of Legends more. Anyways, and then we spend the next 30 minutes at least just on the ship talking to each other.
Character building.
But it's literally just like, hey, my name is blah. This is my backstory.
It's a D&D campaign.
It's literally my first D&D campaign in movie form. It's so bad.
But how cool was the beginning when it's like, were you at least a little intrigued in the beginning where it's like, oh, the Germans come in, they steal whatever and everything. And then you just hear him just like, wrong Quartermain. And he like shoots the guy and everything's like blown up. And he's like,
no, that was cool.
I'm getting old, and takes his glasses off and like snipes a dude from like a million miles away.
There's some moments, man. There's some moments.
Yeah.
And I actually like the plot twist was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't see it coming.
Oh, really?
Not really.
Okay. Oh. Did you actually think it was the invisible guy?
I didn't think it was the invisible guy. I didn't know that the guy who created the League was a bad guy.
Okay.
Now, the guy who lives forever, okay, yeah, there's some dubious behavior there. And I knew it wasn't the invisible guy. They were setting it up so obvious. Although he did disappear for like fucking an hour.
Well, look, man, I thought the CGI is expensive. You can't have this.
Oh, my God.
Right?
The Invisible Man. He has two shots.
Yeah.
One is where he's CGI'd.
Yeah.
And
then he's just literally just
and then
white paint.
And you can see his neck, and it's like, oh my God. Anyways, it's very bad. Pacing's awful. Pacing's bad. Pacing's really bad.
So you think a 17 is fair? You think a 17 is like, that's 5% more than, or 6% more than Freddy Got Fingered?
No, I would give it a little more. There's some things about it. I would give it, what was it, a 17?
17%.
I'd give it like a 25%.
Okay. I'll take it.
There's some memorable moments. There's some fighting, and the premise is good.
Yeah.
Man, this movie's not good though. It's a bad movie, guys.
Here is the question.
Like, I respect your episode 1 opinion way more than this one.
Look, but I was honest with you. I'm like, this isn't a good movie.
No,
I'm not
this is a fucking terrible movie. You didn't say that. You didn't say that.
I don't think this is a terrible movie.
This is the most nostalgic bias I've ever seen. Like, it is a terrible movie.
But you can ask anybody. Like, we did a past podcast in a past life, and I was 100% on board for League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Okay.
Like, this is my guilty pleasure.
Sure.
If it's on, I will watch it. Just, you got to know me.
Did they make a second one?
I don't think so.
I want to look it up. Because at the end, it's like...
they might have done a TV show.
Oh, my God.
Here's my thing, though.
Do you imagine less of a budget?
But my question is, if they were to remake League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, because it's going to happen, right? Like, it will be a thing. Do you think that they make a worse or better movie than the 2003?
It has to be better.
The effects might be better. I just feel like in today's kind of climate of like how they pull on like old things and try to make it, and it's like The Mummy and all this, and it's just like bad.
Yeah.
Like, it's just really, really bad.
Yeah, but some of it's good.
Some of it, yeah, maybe. But I'm just saying, like,
maybe not.
I would
actually
be interested to see if they remade it
in the
if
movie
if
space.
It got better than 17.
In the movie space, a lot of it's not good, but the bar is very low, Tyler.
Yeah.
The bar's 17 is not hard to beat.
It's fair. I wanted to be very clear that this wasn't me trying to like, oh, I watched this movie and I hated it, and I want to like hurt you for Freddy Got Fingered.
No.
So like,
no, you enjoyed this movie, and you also realized that it's bad and it's revenge.
It's not revenge.
It's revenge.
It's not revenge.
Twitter thinks it is.
I truly thought that young Jon would come out and just be like, this is the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah.
But man, I'm here for it.
I did laugh at some points. It was hysterical. The tiger thing got me, and the stabbing thing got me too. What a cringe line. No, the child Jon came out in your last request in The Man Who Knew Too Little. I was like, dude, I feel like a kid.
That spurred me. That was like, oh, maybe.
Yeah, you got a little too
maybe.
Got a little too ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe, just maybe.
That's all right.
It was a good try.
Yeah.
You almost got the nostalgia bone, but The Man Who Knew Too Little, that's a good movie. I will die on that hill with you.
That probably got like 20, 23%
the audience,
or something?
The audience was pretty, 70-something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, that's
the critic was like 20-something, but
yeah,
that's a movie where it's like the audience knows.
That's
a movie made for the audience.
Yeah, but what did the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen get? for the audience.
It was poor for Tyler. It's no saving that movie.
Just empty popcorn turned over.
Oh, the tomato is rotted.
Yeah.
It is green. It is not edible.
That's not good.
But,
Anyway.
I watched
doing it.
I feel like we have a bonding experience now. I can start making some League of Extraordinary Gentlemen references.
Yeah, I didn't want you to think it was retaliation because I genuinely love that movie. You don't like Freddy Got Fingered. There's a difference. You know what I mean? Like, you knew what you were doing.
No, I am going to hell for that for sure, but it was worth it.
Oh, jeez. All right.
But now we're even. Now we both watched a sub 20% Rotten Tomatoes film.
I will say, like, do you not have a movie that, like, you love and then you realize, like, oh, like, as a kid or whatever? Like, I mean, Return of Jafar was the other thing. So the two movies are Return of Jafar and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, where I loved those as a kid.
Right.
Those were, like, by far and away just my favorite movies.
Yeah.
And I grow up and I realize they're just bad. It's like nobody likes them. Yeah.
I need to watch Over the Hedge again.
Oh, I feel like that's recent.
What?
I know it's not.
No way.
I
It's
just
like
feel
08.
Buddy, to me, that's like, it's right around the corner. That's recent.
What? 08 was like
All right, I'll give you that. A
lot of years
Are
ago.
you sure it's 08 though?
I don't know. I'm looking it up right now. Over the Hedge.
08.
06.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well,
That's a while ago,
yeah,
man.
no, you're right. You're right. You're 100%
That's
right.
almost 20 years. That's almost 20 years ago.
I don't have
17
anything to
years
back
ago.
this up, but I think 2011 is what is my breaking point.
It's recent.
Where it's if it's like if
Interesting.
it's before 2011, then I can be like, it's okay, it's been a while. Like
Yeah,
it's
I'd
like
say
if
the
it's
teens.
pre Skyrim, then it's like
Skyrim.
okay. Post Skyrim, it's like it's modern.
I need to watch Over the Hedge again because that might be bad, I guess. I loved it as a kid, but that might be bad. And then
Yeah. Was it Zootopia? What was the other one that came out around
Madagascar?
Madagascar, yeah. That one
I wasn't
went
big
on.
on Madagascar.
But that went on, like that one.
That blew
right?
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one is Sky High, which is a Disney Channel
original movie.
And it's definitely not great. But I loved that movie. Superheroes will always get me in. So
Yeah. Okay.
superheroes in high school, dude.
See, okay,
Loved it.
but I am a sucker for hey, dude, we need to do X. All right, let me build a team. You got your Ocean's 11, you got your League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Like that's the kind I love that type of movie where it's like, here's Wheels. He's the best driver in the business. You know, whatever. Like that's
The Expendables. You like that?
yeah, Expendables,
Yeah.
Fast and Furious. Like it was just like it's great. I'm a sucker for that.
This isn't really the team aspect, but my thought was, man, have you ever seen Kingsman?
No, I haven't.
I was
heard
like,
good things
if
about
you
that,
like
but-
that movie, I think you'd probably like that, Kingsman, Secret Service,
Yeah.
or whatever it's called.
We just started watching a TV show called Slow Horses, which I thought was Gary Oldman takes a bunch of young kids and kind of cheats a casino, right?
That's 21.
That's 21, but I thought it was like, they're doing a TV show of that.
Oh, I gotcha.
Turns out, not the plot at all. Gary Oldman is actually head of where agents just go to end their careers. Like they screwed up in the field and then they get kind of sent over to Siberia and they're just known as the Slow Horses. And it's just like the worst of the worst agents in this group.
Yeah.
We watched the first season. It's real good.
Is it funny
Yeah.
or what is it supposed to be? Oh, it's
Well,
dark.
It's dark. And Gary Oldman just berates them the whole time, which turns into it being funny.
I gotcha.
It's in the trailer, but the one guy is like fighting with somebody and they fall down the stairs. And it's not like this slapstick thing. They just fall down the stairs. He's fighting for his life.
Yeah.
And you hear like crack and the guy that's trying to kill him, his neck breaks. He's like, I swear I didn't try to kill him or I didn't mean to kill him or whatever. And Gary Oldman's like, I know you didn't. Like if you meant to, he'd still be alive or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's good.
That reminds me of like, have you ever seen Burn Notice? That was a TV show.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
USA.
Yep.
Kind of same premise.
Burn
right?
Notice is on the same level as like Psych, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
USA used to pump out some pretty good
Some
shit,
good
dude.
stuff. I don't know if it's all good.
Another one I would say I loved Suits back in the day,
Yeah.
and probably not the best TV show, but that's another
Suits,
guilty pleasure.
I
of mine.
know Suits. Never watched Suits because in my mind, White Collar just
White Collar was actually
White Collar
good,
has
yeah.
all the suits I need. you
Right.
know? Like-
No, that's a fair point. I don't know what it was. It was the dynamic between the two main characters. It was
Yeah.
the ultimate bromance, dude. It was so good. But
oh man.
yeah, whatever. I'm sure I have a bunch of movies that
So this week,
don't hold up.
This week you should do V for Vendetta.
V for
Like
Vendetta.
set in stone.
Okay.
You need a palate cleanser.
Okay.
Then.
V for Vendetta for me, and for you, I was very tempted. I was gonna do something radical, but I might save it for later.
Radical.
Radical.
All right.
It wasn't a movie or TV show or game or anything.
Oh,
Something else.
that's.
I feel like it falls in the scope of
intriguing.
entertainment.
Okay, well,
But-
that's intriguing, but
I was like, nah, I might save that. I don't want to spoil it. So I will have you watch a movie
okay.
since we're still playing games, I believe.
Yeah.
And have you ever seen Office Space?
No, everyone tells me I need to watch
Yep.
Office Space.
There it is.
Oh, done.
Oh,
All
you're
right.
gonna. I can't wait. I am very curious.
Okay.
I don't want to say you're gonna love it, but I'm
If I
very
had
curious.
$1 for every time
Yeah.
somebody said like, "Oh, have you seen Office Space?" You
Yeah.
should watch. I could buy Freddy Got Fingered at least 6 times over, at least, or at least rent it 6 times over.
that
But yeah.
sounds like the worst form
It's
of
the worst
torture
thing, yeah.
I've ever heard. In my
I
life.
will say, so I felt so bad. John got Godfather on Plex and was like, "Hey, the quality isn't great. I'm gonna find you better quality," and did everything. I put it on, and the audio. There was nothing I could do to boost the audio. The audio was so low.
Really?
It's like I couldn't hear it. I didn't have the heart to be like, "Hey, man, the thing that you
Yeah.
spent time getting
Yeah.
for me is like, it's not. It doesn't
not
work."
working.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that
So-
The Godfather wasn't easy to find.
Yeah. Well, in my mind, I was like, look, it's the greatest movie of all time, depending on who you talk to. So it's like, I should just own that movie. So I own The Godfather.
You
now.
own it.
Oh, yeah.
Good for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And you don't even need to burn hours on 2 because it's like, it was good enough that I'm just like, oh, I have to watch the sequel.
Oh
Okay,
no, that,
you
that
know,
was
yeah.
that was the master plan for sure.
Yeah.
2's good. I would not watch 3. 3's not good unless
Yeah.
you're curious.
Is it still Al Pacino?
Yeah,
in three?
but he's like old. It's not good.
Interesting.
It's not as good. I guess it's not the worst. It's not like a League of
Yeah, but I still like
Extraordinary
Departed
Gentlemen.
more than Godfather. So it's like,
Me
these
too.
are good, but it's just all like this
Departed's
makes
my-
me just want to go watch
Departed's
Departed.
my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
But I respect
Yeah.
Godfather. Like I said, it's such
Departed
a good movie.
might be my second. I might honestly watch V for Vendetta with you like this week.
Yeah.
Like I might check it out and just so I can remember it because it's been a while. Like that came out around the same time Dark Knight came out.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it the same year?
I got the Batman Begins, or I'm sorry, not Dark Knight, Batman Begins. I got the Batman Begins like comic book from V for Vendetta, like in the V for Vendetta box or something. It was like some
Interesting.
weird cross thing.
That is really weird, actually.
Yeah. Anywho.
Well, those are our assignments. I might watch Office Space with you. Anytime I have a bad day at work, I watch that movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like a really
What did
bad
that
day.
get? Is that up there on IMDb? Not
Yeah,
sure.
that's interesting.
We just have
V for
IMDb on
Vendetta is an 8.2.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know where that puts it on the list. I should actually check really quick. But let me check Office Space real quick to see what it is.
What do you mean put it on the list?
Like on the top 100 page or top 250 page or whatever.
Oh, for Viva.
Office Space got a 7.6. So
7.6. Okay.
I could see that, I guess. I would put it higher, but it's very... I wouldn't say it's a cult classic, but I don't know.
Do you know who's in Viva Vendetta? Like, did you look it up at all or anything
No.
like that? Okay. I wouldn't.
Okay.
I would be interested to see if you knew who the voice guy was behind the mask.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that part of the fun?
I thought so, but I don't know.
Interesting. All right, we have our assignments
Yeah.
for next week, so very
Cool.
good.
What else?
We had a poll on Twitter.
Yeah, you threw a poll up. Didn't even tell me about it. It was
I
just
did
like
throw a
it was
poll.
like this
Let's
hidden
think
poll.
about- And I actually I need to look it up because I forget what the question was. I actually had a poll today as well, where who got the better deal this week, Jon or Tyler?
Did I just win?
You got the
easy?
better deal.
Oh, okay.
67%. One-third
Oh.
of people
All right.
thought that and I think you had something to do with that.
No,
Did you
I
vote on
didn't.
this?
I did not vote.
Really?
I didn't even know that was a poll today.
There are a couple people that voted
Good.
for me.
Good.
That's crazy. That's insane.
How much was? I mean, it was only like what, an hour and a half, probably.
Yeah.
For League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah,
That's not bad.
I big chunk of time I spent on Godfather. My God, but I probably got 2 movies out of it, so I think it was well invested.
Yeah, I think you did.
Oh, I asked what everyone's go-to channel was as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Cartoon Network, Disney Channel, and Nickelodeon or other. Now, feel like the audience is a wide variety of age range, so I wasn't sure if there was like a secret. Like you, for example, I know you didn't have like cable or something, so it was
Well, yeah, but then none of that would
right.
apply.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you would have been other, but
I would say by the time that we actually got cable, though, so I did vote on that one. That was I did Cartoon Network on that.
interesting. Yeah, so Cartoon Network won at 71%, which was really interesting. I would probably consider myself a Cartoon Network kid as well. And Disney Channel was second, so I guess that makes sense. But there was no votes for Nickelodeon, which really surprised me because I think Nick had a lot of bangers.
Nick, like that was, it was weird because that was always something that we would watch, like if we were over like for a sleepover or something, like Nick at Night, or we were randomly in a hotel or something, we would watch Nick at Night, like never at home. And we had it, like it was available. It was just like, no, we have Cartoon Network or Disney Channel or, you know.
But Nick had like Fairly Odd Parents. Danny Phantom was pretty pog. Avatar, The Last Airbender was Nick.
Was there not like some cross? Like was that none of those were like they? Well, obviously not Danny Phantom and stuff, but like that, like Avatar wasn't on Cartoon Network at some point or anything like that.
I don't think so. I mean, maybe
Cartoon
I'm
Network,
wrong.
you got Courage, you got
Courage,
Dexter,
good.
you got Johnny Bravo, you got Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack was good. Did you see the new one?
I did. You were talking about it. Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
no, Cartoon Network is definitely back in the day, man. It was pretty good.
it was good.
And they had like Looney Tunes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's like, how do you beat that?
Yeah.
But Disney was good too. I mean, I talked briefly about like some of the original movies. Some of the original movies are, look, I know they're cringe, I know they're cheesy, but like as a kid, they were pretty good.
That's like your growing up phase of like, oh, cartoons are too kiddie,
Right?
So
Not
now we're in live action,
yeah, the real world.
yeah, and get to watch all the love romance and like
Hannah
high school.
Montana. Oh my god, I watched so much Hannah Montana, man.
I was Even Stevens. I think was
Even
my
Steven?
favorite. Yeah,
You are older than me. That checks out.
yeah.
No, people love that. Yeah, no, there were a lot of good shows on Disney Channel, I feel like. And then they just ruined those child actors' lives. That's it.
Yeah, I guess all of them, right? Like,
No, there's some. Zac Efron, I would say kind of untouched. Yeah, on the line.
I think he
didn't have a complete
bounced
meltdown.
back.
He's bounced back.
You're
sure.
telling me he didn't have some drug abuse thing?
He probably did. He is bounced back. He is recovered.
He is. I would say. I would call. I'm going to go on record.
Okay.
I think he is talented.
Okay.
I said it there.
Oh,
back in the day,
that's controversial?
probably not, but I never would have admitted that back in the day. Like any good looking actor type of thing. But like he can sing, he can dance.
Yeah.
I think he's funny. Like he can act. Like he's
got a YouTube channel?
A talented guy. Does he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he goes
So
places,
workout.
right?
Workout.
Oh no. What am I?
He's got two. Well, I think that's a show. I think that's a show where he goes places. But he had a YouTube channel where he would go to other people's like channels and stuff and like do their or like athletes and stuff and do their workout with them.
Okay.
It was like a workout thing. It was cool
Good for him. I would say I am pro
No, I
Zac
love
Efron.
Zac Efron. Yeah, I love Zac. I don't care who knows.
Till
that.
tomorrow when you find out some terrible thing about him. But yeah, like I think he's great.
No, he's my guy crush for sure. Like celebrity crush as a guy.
Interesting.
Zac Efron.
Who did I say originally?
I don't know.
He was the guy from Entourage.
Sean Connery.
No, Sean Connery's up there, but
He's got to be Quartermain, man. You're telling me Quartermain walks in here, takes his glasses off.
Look, Sean Connery is Papa Bear. Like he's just he makes me feel safe. I don't like
he can shoot a guy from 500 million miles away, man.
That's helpful.
Imagine your dad just sitting next to you, being like, "Now, son, you got to adjust for the curvature of the Earth. Now, you understand?"
I think. Jeremy Piven.
Jeremy Piven.
Might be my guy.
Okay.
I like Jeremy Piven.
Hey, man, I don't.
What's he doing nowadays? Nothing, huh?
I don't know, but I
Just
know
hanging out.
You're thinking about him. I know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I'm not gonna destroy your journey, man. I'm happy for you. However you get there.
Appreciate it.
Well, this is took a turn.
So okay,
I also tweeted out is a hot dog a taco?
Yeah.
Not a taco, but in the taco family. And I guess the thought process there, right, is you have a meat and then like a semicircle or like a U, right, which is the shell or bun.
Nope. That's the thing.
That's the thing. It's the bun versus shell.
It's the shell. Yeah.
What if it's a soft taco?
It's still a shell. Soft shell, hard shell. It's a shell.
What's
I think
the difference
that's
between a bun and a shell?
A shell is a flour or corn flat thing. Like you can flatten a bun, I guess, and try to pass it off. but it's still bread. I think it's the consistency of it.
Interesting. Well, I wasn't trying to look, I'm not on the side of a hot dog is in the taco family, but it was an interesting, I don't know. I just thought, hey, is it? It's very similar. There's a similar structure
Normally
to it.
I'm behind you on some weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like for between the top cut and the side cut and stuff like. Are we on opposite ends?
We're on opposite.
Okay, well, I'm not
I
with
do
you. Forget
normal
it.
hot dog, you heathen.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind that.
So you're a top cut guy?
It's practical.
No.
Do I? Would I not have?
You're
a side
cutting into
cut?
the hard part of the bun.
Well,
okay.
Then it's the bun that's not.
For the
good.
audience, there's a heated debate of top cut buns, hot dog buns, versus the regular form that everyone uses forever since the beginning of time.
Mm-hmm.
And Tyler believes, and by top cut we mean
You have a normal hot dog bun.
yeah,
And you slice it down the middle on the top of the bun.
Yeah.
Versus on the side, like traditional. I am a sucker for. Look, man. You do something some way for 20 plus years, 30 years,
Okay.
right?
yeah,
And then someone comes along and says, "Hey, guess what? Here's a new way of doing what you've done." And it blows your mind. I am a sucker for innovation. I am a sucker for efficiency. I'm a sucker for symmetry. Those are the three things that make up the top cut hot dog bun, where now you get a perfect amount of the bun and the hot dog biting into it, because now there's no, on one side it's more bun than the other side and stuff like that. It's efficient because now you don't have to take your hot dog bun and kind of stand it upright on its side, because that's how you're putting all the condiments on, and hopefully it doesn't fall back over and get mess all over your plate and stuff, because it automatically sits there and stands all nice for you when you do a top cut.
totally
It's
disagree.
just perfect. It's a perfect
I
thing.
don't use condiments. I don't have that problem. And then secondly,
But did I not give you that benefit where I said if you're not putting condiments on,
yeah,
it changes things, because then it literally is just bun and bread. You can't mess that. Whatever. It's the same on either thing.
but why would you, dude? If you're gonna cut it on the top, why wouldn't you just have a roll, dude? At that point, because the hot dog bun's weak points are the sides where you cut it, so you can cut into it easy.
Right.
But if you're cutting it on the hot where it's structurally sound, you have two weak points on the side, and then you cut into the structural integrity of the bun.
No, you're using the top part that
We need to get a hot dog bun in
is
here.
stronger.
Do you have one?
No, I don't. Sorry.
I'm bringing buns next
Plenty of
time.
taco
We're gonna have
shells.
this on our first video ever. Will be looking at hot dog buns. Anyways, apparently a hot dog is not a taco.
Yeah. I can't get behind that. I could see Nate's argument of it being a sandwich.
A sandwich, okay.
I don't agree, but I could
Maybe that'll be my poll
entertain
next
that
time.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, check us out on Twitter at Couchco Games. We have some wacky conversations on there.
Yeah.
So give us a follow and check us out and participate. Participation is fun, especially forced participation.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, forced participation. Everyone.
Well,
loves
we're
that.
not forcing anyone.
No.
No, I like the polls though. Vote on the polls. I'm going to try to do more polls.
Yeah.
Try to keep them creative. The hard part about the polls is making them well-rounded enough where everyone can jump in. I feel like a lot of the times when you're doing just
Yeah.
a video game, you kind of alienate part of the audience.
Yeah, but if you talk about something controversial like hot dog eating, people jump in.
Oh, it was one of our most viewed tweets.
Yeah, it's stupid.
It's very funny.
Stupid.
No, it's not. Everyone loves a hot dog
Yeah.
and taco,
Yeah.
and they have strong opinions about both.
Yeah, I do like tacos.
All right. I think we have one more thing on the agenda.
Yeah, it's a small thing.
It's a small thing. What is it, Tyler?
So apparently, Harry Potter came out a few years ago.
Now, for those of you,
seven books,
for the members in the audience who don't know what Harry Potter, you said, what did you say?
eight books, 7 books, 7 books,
7 books?
7 books of Harry Potter.
Oh crap!
Oh, are you not a Potterhead?
It's got to be 8.
8
No,
books?
it's 7. It's
gotta be
7.
7.
It's 8 movies, 7 books. Sorry,
Yeah,
because the last book was split into 2 movies.
we love
7
we
books.
love that greed. Okay, so
7. Yeah.
they came out with this this Harry Potter series that
Yep.
turns out everyone likes wizards and magic and teen.
Everything.
drama.
Everyone likes. It goes to my Sky High kind of argument, man. Everyone loves like a magical world
Yeah,
set in high school. something relatable. So like back when these came out and a lot of people were in high school or school in general, they're like, oh my God, this would be so much more fun than the school I'm in. I don't know. It kind of gets the imagination going. It's fun.
I feel like those books ruined the imagination of like, oh, there are 3 houses or 4 houses or whatever. And every school in every book since then has been divided into this is the like Hunger Games and everything. It's like this is the firehouse and the ark house. And it's like, oh my God.
100%.
Yeah.
But it did it well though.
Sure. And then people are just gonna be chasing that forever. Anyway, Hogwarts Legacy came out. There have been other Harry Potter games like Lego, and I think there was a Quidditch game at one
Quidditch
point.
World Cup 2003.
Sure, maybe
one of my favorite games. of all time.
we'll get to that.
Scratch my movie.
If you like
10 hours of that game.
Oh no,
it's so good.
What's it on? PlayStation 2, right?
PlayStation 2.
Yeah, I don't have a PlayStation 2. Can I play that on?
You can
PS5?
download the emulator.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. That's
10 hours on the clock. All right.
starting now.
But that's roughly it. And there hasn't been like a, hey, we want a Harry Potter game. Like
They did make the games on the movies.
Oh, like the licensed. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So actually, the first couple weren't bad.
Okay.
Sorcerer's Stone and the Chamber Secrets was pretty good. Prisoner Azkaban was okay, and then they started going downhill and being more like traditional
Cash grab,
movie licensed games. But
this one not based off the books. It's funny that they say that, right? So this is not tied to Harry Potter.
Nope.
This is set way in the. I shouldn't say way, but like significantly
100 years
Harry Potter.
100 years or so.
And it's straight up, hey, here's Hogwarts, here's a whole new cast of characters and everything, and they just kind of really just throw you in.
Yep.
And you just kind of walk around and experience the world of Harry Potter and everything it has to offer. So we were playing it. I told you, hey, we got to look up what the concurrent player count is. I don't know what it is, but it was like busting all kinds of records because like people that don't play video games were playing this game because everyone loves Harry Potter.
Right.
What are your thoughts? So I know we like to kind of break it down into like different sections. What do you want to start with?
I feel like we've usually been starting with performance.
Performance? See, last week I thought you said it was graphics, but we can pick whatever you
shit.
want.
Did I say graphics?
Yeah.
I did say graphics. We can start graphics, and then I feel like it's the same.
It's the same conversation.
We talk about both.
Yeah.
Let's start with graphics and then move to performance, Tyler.
All right, performance is usually last.
Why would you ask
fine.
me if you knew the answer?
I'd like to keep you on your toes.
My toes are gone.
How does it run for you? I'm just kidding. How's the graphics?
The graphics are pretty good. The graphics are pretty good. So it was interesting. When Tyler and I were recording last week, Chelsea, our second research department, was playing the game to our right. Mm-hmm. And it does look pretty good, but I feel like coming right off of Horizon and stuff, tough. But I tried to, put that in my head. Like we discussed, that shouldn't be the bar because that to me is like the pinnacle of, I think Horizon is one of the best looking games I've ever seen. So with that in mind, I think it does look pretty good. Are the character models as good as Horizon? No. But are they passable? 100%. I don't think they look bad by any means. I think the environment looks very good. Specifically, I think they did an amazing job with recreating Hogwarts. Every room feels very, like a lot of love and care was put into it and crafting each room and the world itself. By the way, the world is huge.
Yeah, it gets
that was
pretty large. Yeah.
That was a shock. Like I thought it was going to be Hogwarts, Hogsmeade, little, some villages. And then I kept scrolling on the world map and I was like, wow, this is a huge world. So very impressed by that. Obviously, like the non-traditional areas are less inspired than...
But it still is fuller than something like Forspoken, where it's just kind of like these swaths of just flat. At least there's like, oh, this is like the shoreline. This is the grassy place.
There's identifiable landmarks.
Yeah.
Which is so important. And something you don't necessarily think about in game design until you play something like Forspoken, where it's like, oh, I can't latch on to any point on this map. right? It all looks the same.
Yeah.
And that's like a very cognitive thing that we need. Like we recognize things through, oh, there's that tall building, there's the shoreline, whatever.
Like
So-
there was kind of like this B-tier game that had like this glowing tree, right, in like the middle of the map or whatever that you could kind of like look at it and stuff. And with this one, it's, you know, if you're going around, you're exploring, you're doing your different things, which we'll get to in the gameplay. But then it's just like, oh, hey, there's that giant castle that, you know, like is looming, not looming, but like you can always see Hogwarts wherever you're at and stuff. And it gives you kind of like a grounded sense of where you're at. It's nice.
I think it's important. It's like the same kind of philosophy in Skyrim, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the big tree in that one is kind of like, I don't know if you can see that from everyone on the map, but I know that's like a central.
Yeah, I mean, Skyrim,
right?
like that's even more of a like. I would even
Did
argue.
I say Skyrim?
You said Skyrim.
I meant Elden Ring.
I know what you meant,
Yeah,
but
sorry.
Skyrim is also like very like detail oriented, where it's like each little place is so meticulously crafted.
Whiterun.
And well, yeah, and it's crazy because you can very quickly tell where all of that time and energy went, which was Hogwarts, which is good. Like if you're picking a place to put your time and energy, that's where you do it, and they do a fantastic job, just a phenomenal job on that. Everything else starts to be like very cookie cutter, and that's when my kind of, because I am a completionist, right? So like as I'm starting to look at the different graphics and looking at like, oh hey, here's this like cave or whatever. That's weird. Was I here before? Sure wasn't, because I left some treasure here, but like I'm pretty sure this is identical to the one over on this side of the map, and it's like. To their credit, they spread them far enough apart that, like, unless you're literally hopping cave to cave, which is what I was doing, you start to pick up on the pattern. But it's like, okay, that's where they cut corners.
Right.
Not a huge deal breaker visually and stuff, because like it still texture-wise looks good.
Right.
But Hogwarts is easily the shining star there.
That's a good point. Hogwarts is where like a lot of the attention, and like you said, you have to do that.
Yeah.
And I think the textures were good. I think the scope of the game is huge, right? And I'm really curious about like the technical aspect of it, because I don't like the background always looks pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The way they do it. I don't know if there's a particular style, because I would imagine you can't load the whole map at once. So I do wonder how they, you know, is it a skybox that's just really well placed with lighting and stuff? You know how they do that sometimes? So like, for example, in Final Fantasy VII Remake, the sky is a skybox, but you're in Midgard. So it's like a ceiling and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they do it in a way where it's like fades into the game world where it looks seamless, I guess. You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So I wonder if it's maybe a technique like that. And look, I know nothing about this stuff, so
well, you can tell certain
stupid,
things too, where like if you're running around Hogwarts, there are some doors that take like an extra second to open because it's loading the map like behind them and stuff like that too. So yeah, I mean, it is interesting, and like to some extent they have to load that stuff because like it's just straight up like you can at some point in the game like just fly wherever you want, more or less,
right?
So if you look closely, you can see some pop in, but the draw, and granted, we're also running on like higher PCs, so I was noticing it a little bit more on like when Chelsea was playing on like PlayStation and stuff.
Yeah.
But there is some like pop in, you'll start seeing shadows, you'll start seeing like the reflections fade in as you're going along the water and stuff. So like there's some of that, but they do a pretty good job masking. I will give them that.
Yeah, but the world I think looks pretty nice.
Grass looks good.
The water looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I think. What did you say?
The grass.
I thought
that like the vegetation, everything
grass looks
really
good. The Forbidden Forest looks pretty nice, right? They do a really good job of setting that up. So overall, I think the visual is not the greatest, but easily passable, and I would say even pretty good.
How did you feel about, like, I know you were talking like the characters were like okay. Did you? One thing that took it out of me is I thought there were very few characters, and I can't remember if we talked about this last week, but there were very few characters that felt to me that they matched their voice.
Right.
Did that hit you at all, or are you just kind of, am I just like overanalyzing that sort of thing?
I think you might have been honing in on that a little bit more than me.
Okay.
Now, is the voice work as good as something like Horizon? No. Or God of War? Like, no. But it didn't take me out of it. I'll say that. So it didn't take me out of it. I felt the voice acting was fine.
I don't know if it was my headphones, where like I have these like high fidelity whatever headphones or something, but like they do have those pitch modulator things. So some of the inconsequential characters, or just some like random NPC that you talk to, or like a shopkeeper or something, you can tell that they took like the same voice actor and just like pitched it down, so it has this weird like artificially almost like vibrating like I don't know robot voice or something.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, down here. And it's just like, that stuff like that just kind of like grinds me a little bit. But I think some of the stuff was overacted overall. But like generally speaking, I thought the character models were like okay. I don't know.
Nothing crazy, but definitely passable. Like,
Yeah.
I was still in the game. I was still invested. It did not take me out of it. It was like the character creation was pretty good as well. I thought there were a lot of options and different, specs you could pick.
I could make this up, but like the cool thing, and maybe this saves on some of the load times, is like as you're running around Hogwarts, as you're doing like different castles and stuff, and even somewhat in like Hogsmeade and other smaller areas, if you're running around, all the smaller pictures seem just like they're just static. But then if you stop and you stare at them for a little bit,
and they move,
then it's like they load in and they start moving and stuff. And I was like, okay, that's how you can kind of like cheat some of that. And it's kind of neat. But like it's so intricate and it's so like well detailed. Especially obviously Hogsmeade is also very, very good.
Hogsmeade is fantastic, but Hogwarts is. Yeah. I don't think you can do a better job. I mean, it is unbelievable. So much love and care for the design of it. Every room, well thought out. The placement, all the rooms that would exist in Hogwarts, the secret rooms, the secret caverns and stuff, the library, forbidden section. I don't know. It's just everything was just crafted so well, and it just felt like, this is the model of Hogwarts, like that people will reference forever.
Yeah.
So, the visuals good. In terms of performance, okay, mostly good, but I had some problems in some areas. Hogsmeade in particular.
You get like slowdown or something?
Dropping frames. And I was on ultra everything. No, actually at first I was on ray tracing. I didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
And God, I was like at 20 frames. I was like, oh no.
I can't see it doing anything.
Well, I just watched the video and this guy had a 4090 and a Ryzen whatever processor.
Yeah.
Like the best PC you can buy, essentially. And he was ray tracing all the way up. He was barely hitting 60 in Hogsmeade.
Yeah.
Barely.
I don't understand it because like I could not tell a difference.
His conclusion was that there is an issue with it's not the hardware, it's the game itself. There's some sort of bottleneck, and particularly in the CPU, that's causing those frame drops. Oh, however, there's an option for what's it called? Included frames or something, or
frame insertion.
But that's
only for 4,000.
That's only 4,000, but it does help quite a bit. It gave him over 100 frames. It was amazing.
Yeah,
but you're right. If you're rich and lucky, you can benefit. Yeah. Imagine that. But you weren't finding that problem? You didn't have any dips?
Maybe occasionally here and there, but that's like if I'm like flying above everything and then like zoom down that I'm going to try to like blow something up, or if there's like a million different spells going on at once.
Were you on ultra everything?
Yeah.
And
I have a 30 Ti, so at 30 Ti, like I'm slightly
that's really surprising. What were you running? Like what were your frames at on a average?
I didn't have the frame count. I mean, they were over 60. That's for sure.
So I'm sitting at like, if I'm in a dungeon or something, I'm easily at like 120 plus.
Yeah.
If I'm in Hogwarts, I'm at like, depending on the area, like 80. Hogsmeade was like 60. Like, it was barely there.
But it was dipping. Now that I've corrupted you, like you can tell 60 now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was definitely over 60 for...
Instantly. But there were some stutters too.
A couple stutters. The performance-wise, I was looking more at like some of the AI is just real bad. Like just real dumb. Like really just like, and I don't know if that was just the way it's programmed or I just broke the game. Like if you max out your stealth, it's like 4 tiers in your stealth ability. I'm just walking around just like shanking people like left and right. Like it doesn't matter. But here's the thing.
Now, normally I would be with you where that takes me out of it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like right in front of this guy. But you got to think about this. You're turning yourself invisible.
Yeah.
So it's
I get it.
you got so good that you're just literally invisible to the naked eye.
But whenever I'm not doing that and I like force push them off like a cliff or something and they're just like hanging in midair,
Yeah.
like trying to run,
Yep.
but I have to kill them to like finish the fight and move
Right.
on to the cutscene or whatever, and they just don't die, that's annoying.
100%.
Granted, a lot of the save states and things like that are like right before a fight or right after a fight, and it's easy enough to be like reload checkpoint. And we'll get that, but like the combat is fun enough that it's like, okay, it's not that big a deal.
Right.
But it was just like, yeah, okay, there's just enough that I'm just like, this happens a lot.
I guess our experiences are a little reversed. I didn't
Yeah.
run into a lot of those like glitches, guys falling off thing
Yeah.
or whatever. I didn't really run into that.
They're getting hit in like geometry all the
Yeah.
time. I would hit somebody and they would get like stuck in like a gate. Like I had like
interesting.
I want to say at least 2 gates, if not 3, where it's like they get stuck in like eventually this gate will open.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't because they're like stuck in it. Like they found like some weird like black hole.
Wow. No, that hasn't happened to me at all. I don't think.
So it definitely was 3 because there's 2 in the wild and then 1 doing the there's like a underground like fight club.
Yeah.
For students.
Oh yeah.
And I hit this one girl through like the bars. So like she just like warped through the bars and then she's like trying to like she's just like constantly running.
Yeah.
But like it's like blocking her and I can't do anything. So
Maybe
like,
you're just going way crazier than me. Maybe I'm just more straightforward.
I don't know.
Like I'm the what they play tested for, and you're just breaking the game and
just
fucking
smacking
people up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I had some frame issues in terms of that kind of stuff, like combat. Mine was smooth and seamless. Like the combat
feels good.
so fun.
Yeah.
So fun, fluid. The spells are really creative and
Yep.
interesting. And I love figuring out different combos with the spells as well. I like the tiers of the spell, how they categorize them. I thought that was really clever as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's all spells from like the books and stuff and the movies, right? So
Yeah.
there's just that. I mean, this is the whole game, but there's that sense of, oh, dude, I remember this, I remember that, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really enjoyed the combat. I thought it was very well done.
I think that's the best part of the game.
Combat?
Is the combat. I think that was enough for me to when I say the best part of the game, I'm like I'm content flying around on my broom, dropping down, murdering some poachers
Yeah.
as a 14-year-old kid or
Yeah.
18-year-old kid or whatever. Just killing so many people. And being a Hufflepuff while doing it.
I'm gonna badger on my chest. Yeah.
But I just think that like it felt really snappy, and I know there was like a video going around where like somebody was like shooting a wand and stuff, and like myself included, I was like, this looks like super boring. Like this looks like bad. But like when things pop off, like there's a lot going on. I think it actually does a pretty good job letting you target who you want to target, attack who you want to attack, transition where you need to. Like a lot of the animations take some flourish, but you can always like stop an animation or change it up or something. It's not like I think of like the Jedi
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order.
Yep.
I think of like obviously like your Elden Rings and stuff where it's like once you're in that move, you're locked
You're
in,
done, yeah.
and then good luck. Hopefully your thing hits. This felt a lot more responsive, and I love that stuff. It's more Batman.
You can animation cancel, like roll out or protect.
Mm-hmm.
I also really enjoy like you get to pick your slots, so you get 4 spells per slot or whatever.
Yeah.
And or per bar, I guess, or whatever. And then so you can like kind of choose your loadouts. But I also really like that some spells you can always just cast, like Protego, which was like your protection spell, and then like some of the other ones. So I thought that was clever as well. Like a good way to do it, like a good balance, right?
I wish you could map some of the like spells you would always use to that stuff. So like Levioso, like I wish you could just always have that.
Yeah, I felt like the
something.
blue ones, right? Like the blue ones felt like they should have just been, because the way I did it, I actually rushed like the 4 unlocks just so I could scroll through them. Yeah, right,
Yep.
exactly. So I can just have all the options. I ended up having one, like my 4th bar was just the blue spells. I could just flick to it, and then that's my like I'm out of combat. I'm doing
This
things,
is your
puzzles.
exploration and stuff. Yeah, 100%.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So Combat really fun. Enemies were interesting. I liked how there's the creatures, there's the bad guys who have kind of different spells they use and stuff, and different ways you can defeat them.
But there's 4 enemies, 5, including spiders, maybe.
Spider, yeah.
So you have your goblins.
Yep.
Your humans.
Yep.
Your trolls.
Yep.
Your spiders.
Yep.
And your bullfrogs.
And
your wolves.
Yeah. And then the bad guys.
What bad guys? What do you mean?
Like your poachers and
that's humans.
Oh, you said humans.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
So that's 6 enemy types over the course of a 30 to 60 hour game.
Okay, that's a fair point.
But but like that's the kind of stuff. Like,
I didn't feel like it was. I felt
they do a good job, and like that's the kind of yin and yang of it, right? Or yin and yang of it. Like it's what's there is good. But if you take away Harry Potter, like the thing that I was trying to do is, if I take away Harry Potter, what are you left with? And it was more of a like a shell type of thing for me. So if we're talking about gameplay, and maybe we weave story into this, I don't know, because obviously we don't want to spoil anything because it is fairly new, and there's a lot of people that like really like this game and are playing through it, so I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
But if you're looking purely at gameplay, a lot of the stuff is like inconsequential. Like you're like, hey, here's this thing. There's like find a key. There's like 15 of these flying around and doing it. Good luck finding it.
Yep.
On one hand, it's, oh, hey, I found a key, and you just do it. And as you're exploring, it's just like, oh, okay, I follow this little flying key, open up a thing, and I get one of these, and there's 16 more of these I got to get. They're little like moon guys. They're little eye chat. Like it's just like a lot of stuff that like as you're exploring, you do those things. You learn how to uncover them and do them. I think that's fine to an extent. And again, I know we don't like to going back to like Horizon, but it was like Horizon did that, but they would mix it up.
Right.
The same end result was like there, but it's like this is just so repetitive that it's like, hey, we have to get you around this giant ass castle that we put all this time and effort and work into. Like, how do we do that? I applaud them because what they did is fun and good, but it's like the number puzzles and the keys and the like they're the same. It's not like here's one version of it and everything. I think the closest thing there are like Merlin trials that have like different ways to open to. But there's, I think, I'll even be generous. Let's say there's 9 different ones. I don't even think there are that many different types. But then there's like 50 of them in the world. So it's like you're doing the same thing multiple times. And like some are like, when I see a certain type, I'm just like, oh, it's going to take like forever because like it's kind of finicky on some of them and things. So I'm in the point now where like I have to finish like the last part of the campaign. So I'm just kind of going around the map and cleaning things up and doing that stuff. And to some extent, it's fun. In the very beginning few hours, it was fun because you're like exploring new things and getting new clothes and changing how you look, which we can touch on too. But like now that I'm in the what I consider like the web slinging phase, where I'm just trying to do everything, which is just, and it's the same as Spider-Man, where it's like it's lowering my enjoyment of the game because it's like this is so repetitive and I don't want to be doing it, but like I kind of have to finish this because I've come so far now. So I'm just kicking myself in the butt at that point. But
yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. And what's interesting about this game as well is the way I kind of view it is, to me, and maybe you feel differently, it seems like this was supposed to be an MMO and then they switched.
It feels like
and then it's a single player game. So they could expand on the visuals and some of those elements.
Yeah.
But it seems like initially, because there's a lot of MMO components to this game, like the quests, like a lot of these different things, right? Mm-hmm. Going to these different dungeons and stuff. So I don't know if you feel the same way about that, but to me, it kind of feels like that. And then the mounts and stuff. And so I agree and disagree. So yeah, a lot of this stuff's repetitive, but we know where they put all their eggs. All the eggs went in the Hogwarts basket, the world basket. And I can forgive some of those more repetitive elements of it because I'm exploring Hogwarts. I'm looking at all these different rooms and these places, and it's just a way to like get me to go around and explore the entirety of the castle. Like you said, there's like 16 house chest tokens or whatever.
And I pulled that number out of my butt. There might be more.
I think there's exactly 16.
Is there?
Because
Okay,
I think I
perfect.
just finished
Yeah.
it. But
All right.
but it's very well done because they're all set up in entirely different spots of the castle and hit almost every like they're pretty close to every what's it called? Like checkpoint or whatever.
Yeah.
Fast travel point. So it's a really clever way to get you to explore almost every inch of the castle. I mean, to look for that. So I don't know. I haven't been beating my head against the wall to 100% it. So of course our experiences are going to differ there, but I've just been totally enjoying the world of it. I mean, here's the thing. And I guess, you know, we have other categories to talk about, but ultimately, to me, this is the Harry Potter game everyone has always wanted.
Well, you know Harry Potter, right? So, like, I guess my question to you is, knowing the source material, reading the books, watching the movies, are you taking that extra time within the castle and being like, oh, that's that from this part, or oh, that's really cool from here, or this, like, I'm getting some of that if I decide to read the scroll. Like, one of them is like you reveal something and like you pick up 1,000,000 scrolls, right? Like I've picked up 150 scrolls around the environment,
right?
And it's like I'm not reading those, and it's not a lot. It's just like I'm just like, hey, collection. Like for me, it's a collectathon. I fully understand this game is not necessarily meant for me, right? Like you lose a significant bit if you're not either into the Harry Potter lore where you already know everything, or you want to be in the Harry Potter lore where you want to learn everything.
Right.
I'm neither, where it's like I know I'm losing some of that.
Yeah, no, look, there are very few games where I read the pickups.
Yeah.
Like Mass Effect's 1. And like, yeah, I wouldn't say I read like all of them, but I found myself going through, like looking at the things that I discovered. And yeah, I take my time and look around the castle and it's like, wow, this is like amazing. So yes, I am the target audience.
Right.
And that's going to give me a lot more of enjoyment, right? Exactly what you said. If you take away the world, like the, what would you say, the shell of it or the skin of it?
Yeah.
It's a pretty bare bones game, right?
Well, take it a step further. And like, I don't want to, like, so I have 35, probably going on 40 hours in this game, right? I'm enjoying it.
Right.
So I want to be very clear with that. I don't want to just kind of like crap all over this game.
Yes.
I just want to be like fair on certain things. Like, okay, you can't talk to anybody unless they want to talk to you.
Right. But
to me, that's
classic,
but that's a weird thing, right? Like, maybe not, but like if you look at something like Red Dead Redemption or something, I feel like you can go and like talk to anybody, and it's just like the whole draw of that game is you're just living your life.
Yep.
Take it slow. You're not rushing through and doing everything. It's just like you're in school, man. Like, just go to class. And with these things, it's like, hey, the teacher wants to talk to you, so go here. You have a 30-second cutscene of kids like being like, haha, I did a potion or whatever.
Yep.
And then they give you a new spell and they're like, yeah, I don't know, practice on the dummy if you want. And then that's it. And they just stop talking to you.
Right. Right.
And it's like, all right.
You can
cool.
go up to the teachers and there are dialogues for each of them. I don't know if you did that.
Yeah, but not continuously, right? Like once you get the backstory, do they have more dialogues or am I just missing it?
Yeah, maybe not.
Like I've clicked all the dialogues because my OCD is like you must click on every dialogue
I see.
option.
I thought it kind of drip fed you. Them. Maybe you did it later in the game.
Maybe unless
it's all unlocked.
Possibly,
Yeah.
that's possible.
Because I felt like it was like, oh, I learned this spell. I talk to them. I get a little more, another piece of the nugget.
Well, that's the other half of it is like I feel like we always joke about like, are we the villains of the story? It's like, I'm Hufflepuff, and then I'm like, I'm gonna poachers. I'm gonna murder all of you. Like you just kill everyone. But like, there's no morality and there's no consequences to anything you say. And I got to the point where I'm like, I'm always gonna be good. I'm Hufflepuff. I'm gonna really just kind of metagame this and just be like 100% like Paragon, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
But then at some point, I'm just like, I have to see what like. You get some family heirloom random, and you always have the option of like, hey, here's the heirloom back for you. Hey, could I have a reward for this and a little bit more money? And then other ones are just like, nah, I'm keeping this. Screw you. And like, none of it matters. Like, it truly doesn't matter. It has no effect on the story, the characters, how they perceive you or not. I've been playing two characters left and right, and they're constantly like, don't tell this other character, or oh, don't tell this other character. And I'm just like, oh, don't worry, I won't say anything. And like, I'm just
Telling
pinned by,
everyone.
yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like it not like that's the type of stuff where it falls a little flat in terms of like the story and the character building and things where like you would think in it something like that. Like I felt I was more connected to like, and I know people joke about me when I'm not playing like the Fire Emblem like Three Houses, but like I felt more connected to most of those characters just talking to them within the first like hour than 30, 40 hours into this game where it's like, oh, I kind of recognize you because you're always the dude looking at the stars or something. And it's like, yeah, okay, thanks, Amit, you know?
Yeah, meats.
Yeah. And like, that's cool.
You know him.
The most privileged guy at this school. It's like, oh, I have another unicorn hair telescope or whatever.
1,000 telescopes.
Yeah, take this one. Everyone's just super nice. But there's no like, am I crazy? And maybe I'm just not far enough. I'm again.
You're farther than me.
Yeah. There's no conflict. Like I feel like a key point of Harry Potter was like Draco was just a jerk.
Yeah.
Or you had some rival, or you had something. And it's just kind of like this. Everyone's just nice. Like it's all like everyone's cool.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. So a lot to unpack there.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm just rambling.
I agree. That was one of my gripes as well. When I look at something like Mass Effect, which is like my favorite series of all time, it's like the Paragon Renegade system is paramount to that game, and such a great opportunity to do that here, especially with the certain spells you can learn and like you said, just like the things that you do, right? Like I feel like, yeah, there should be definitely consequences in a morality system. I think they could have added that into here. So that was a miss for me. I wish there were more dialogue options as well. Like you said, it's either good, am I nice, or am I a dick?
Yeah.
That's literally it. And then it really doesn't matter. Although I have found, I don't think it's as bad as you said, because like I was a dick to this one kid. It was like the one kid who everyone was making fun of him because they were doing the, what's it called? You know, where the boggart changes into your worst fear.
Okay.
And his changed into a Puffskein.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know why.
It's
he was
like
afraid
early
of him.
on in that game, yeah.
And so I go into this dangerous cave and get this venomous thing and bring it back. And he's like, yeah, so can I have it so everyone thinks I'm brave? I'm like, fuck you, dude. No. So I was a dick.
Yeah.
So anyways, I will say, like every time I see him, he's like, they still call me little bitch boy.
Okay, hey, look.
Puffskein. And I'm like, good, fuck you. So there is some of that. Is it as detailed as it should be? No. But I have found that like, oh my God, thanks again for saving my uncle. And like, you just get these little spats I've found. So maybe I'm lucky.
No, I mean,
running into them.
I've never encountered anything like that.
Yeah, no. Like if I'm just hanging around in a class and they'll like talk to you. So like to me, I found personally, I was kind of remembering the characters a little bit. Are they like the most like, is there a Garrus? Is there a Tally? Like, no.
Yeah, are
like,
you running into Ron and Hermione? And like I feel like Hermione even is just like this, like, oh, you are that type of person.
Right.
But I met her when I, like, 'cause in Hufflepuff, and I think we were joking, where like Hufflepuff, the very first person you talk to, is like this know-it-all that doesn't want to be in a Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
But like, I met her.
Yeah.
I got what I thought her personality was. And then when I met her later on in the game, it was like completely different.
Yeah.
And it felt weird to me.
I think the Slytherin people are pretty consistent. And I like Sebastian. He's like my best buddy, dude. So
That tracks. Yeah.
yeah, so we can do a lot of shenanigans. So I actually like that. I think you're right. There's a missed opportunity for more of a relationship aspect. Like you should have like a best friend. You should have like a group of friends where you're sitting in the common room, you're just talking it out. Like, you know what I mean? But here's what it comes down to, Tyler. I think the point of this is that they try to do too much, in my opinion. Like the scope of the world, making sure everything's included. And, you know, there's always going to be a sacrifice when you try to do that. Not to say that it was bad, but, you know, the quality does suffer when you try to incorporate this huge world, when you try to incorporate all of these side quests and mini games and stuff like that, which is all great. And I love that. And I love the free roam and exploration, but it's like a Skyrim dilemma, right?
Yeah.
Like you have such a vast open world like that. Something like more linear is just going to have more quality, you know, imbued in it.
But that's the thing is like, imagine if Hogwarts is your home base, right? Like
Right.
it is so detailed and so incredibly done.
Right.
Every little minuscule thing.
Yep.
And I almost had like zero reason to be there, short of, hey, come back, get that other spell, or hey, come back and talk to that person. They immediately sends you back out in the wilderness to do XYZ.
Sure.
It's like, could they have done something where it isn't an open world game? It is just Hogwarts, and then they'll like a loading screen or whatever, and they put you into some sort of like kind of linear like progression, almost like kind of like a God of War thing or whatever.
Sure.
I think that would have been better, a little bit more like, oh, you're not only being with the characters more, but like that's the whole thing of Harry Potter, right? Like he was all like, Harry Potter was. I'm going to say never because I don't really remember the movies exactly, but it's like he was never kind of just running around the countryside by himself, right?
No.
And I'm not saying you are 1-to-1 with Harry Potter, but it's just like
the spirit of it.
Yeah, it's like it's open world.
It was school. It was,
yeah.
I have friends, we're learning things. There's these threats that happen. It's not like he didn't leave the castle,
Yeah.
He does go off into the Forbidden Forest. He does go to a secret dungeon,
Right.
this and that. But to your point, yeah, I think maybe it would have been better spent to let's invest it all into the castle and Hogsmeade and some surrounding areas, but then maybe a more linear track. But you sacrifice I think a lot of people
Hogsmeade's
really
perfectly done, right?
It
So
is,
it's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
couldn't it be something where you have all these mini games for potions class and a different mini game for the astronomy class
Yep.
and divination and all this other stuff? But like to take those classes or do stuff like, I mean, this might give some people like PTSD. It's like, you have a schedule, and like I hate schedules and times and things like that. But it's like, nope, it's this day. This is what you have to be at each point. Like school.
Yeah, it's like a Fire Emblem thing, right? Wasn't Fire Emblem have like a calendar and you can do certain things on certain
It just
days?
seems like that almost lends itself perfectly, and that is not my game.
No.
So for me to advocate like, hey, wouldn't this be more in the spirit of kind of what you're trying to do or whatever?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think overall it's fine. One last thing as far as like the UI.
Okay.
Holy heck, does everything just feel slow? Where like the reason why I streamlined those 4 hotbars for spells and stuff is because I was sick of like having to bring up the menu to then switch over spells every time. I was sick of like, okay, I hit my map and you hit it and there's this like fade out animation of a book opening and doing things, fade in, and it takes like 3-4 seconds just before you can even click on anything in the map. Like it should be fast, especially when you're in there constantly. Like the inventory, like the way you can put on all your items but always look how you want to look, awesome, fantastic. The map could be better because I think that they're trying to do this weird like Hogsmeade, Hogsworth like 3D map thing, and like Hogsworth just doesn't work well. Everything else is passable and fine, but like there's just so many menus and so many things you're constantly in, and it just takes so long to do anything. Even dumb things where it's like I'm flipping between my spell bar. The spell bar literally fades out and fades back in. Why can't it just like, and that's just like a UX UI BS that I'm overly sensitive to, so take it with a grain of salt. But like, I don't know. There are just some things that I'm just like beating my head. I'm like, I literally looked that up. I was like, can I disable like screen animations and just pretend that it's like an accessibility thing? Like, oh, the motion makes me sick or something. Can we just disable all animations and just give me a text menu? I'd rather have that. You can't.
The answer's no.
You can't do it. But
interesting.
it's so stylish and it's so well done the first time.
Right. And then you get...
And then 40 hours in, it's just like, oh my gosh.
And I think that really kind of contributes to how you're playing the game, right? I mean...
Yeah, exactly.
But some, you have to consider some people are going to play the game like that. So, those considerations need to be made. So
when you do a Merlin trial and you complete it, there is an unskippable cutscene of this Merlin hut thing appear.
Yep.
Cool. It's first time.
It's like 5 seconds.
Yeah. And there's like 90 of these.
Yeah.
And it's just like
trying to cook through them.
Yeah. Like I got to the point where the moment I do it, I immediately hop on my broom as fast as I can, because it's like, okay, once this finishes, it's like almost like splitting the difference. So the animation of hopping on the broom is cutting into the animation of
speed running.
Kind of, but it's like it's so boring. Like, can I at least let me skip it? At least let me just be like, hey, I'm good. I don't need to see the exact same animation for the I'm no joke. It's at least 50 times. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of those trials. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, it's a lot of.
Did we cover everything? I think we covered it.
I think we covered a lot.
I'm still gonna play it. I'm still gonna finish it.
I guess we get to the point now where we decide our rating on it.
Yeah. Where are you sitting at?
This is gonna be tough. I feel like I'm high on this, but I don't care.
Okay.
Here's what it comes down to, Tyler.
How high are we talking?
99. Just kidding.
Oh, my heart clenched. I was like, oh no.
No.
Okay.
All right. Here's the thing, Tyler. Let me preface this. This is the game Harry Potter fans have always wanted forever. We wanted a game where we could just open world, explore. And yeah, I mean, we talked about some things they could have done better, but look, from what they did, it was fantastic. They got the spells right. They got the world right. They got everything about it right. It's a beautiful world to explore. The method in which you can explore it is great. I felt like also they were giving me, there's so much to do in this game. They were giving me things like throughout. I felt like I was pretty far progressed in the game and I was still getting new things like, hey, here's this. Hey, here's this room. Here's your base.
Yeah.
Your base just got bigger. Your base just got even bigger. Hey, fuck you. Now your base is even bigger than that. And there's more things you can do. And you can collect this and collect that and modes of transportation. It's like, I just felt like, wow, they really were thoughtful.
I guess we didn't talk about that.
I don't know if we wanted to, I don't know if that's in spoiler territory or whatever. So
yeah,
I'll leave it at that. But there's so many different aspects to the game. The time trials, the dueling, like you mentioned. Mm-hmm. There's another mini game. I mean, I just think it's so filled. Like this world's so filled, and especially with something like Forspoken, like I think it's important to make those comparisons. I just think it's like this is how you fill a world. This is how you input stuff, make it fun. There's so many things to do. So to me, and man, how amazing was it that you can link your Pottermore account? And then the hat puts you in the thing. I think that's so clever and creative and awesome that a game can do that.
Can you do that quiz in the game? How does it work with the game if you don't have a Pottermore account?
I think it's an abridged version. I haven't watched it, but they ask you some questions and
I feel like that could have been. Anyway, continue. You're talking it up. So
I think I think what it does amazing is like the big set moments when you get sorted into your house, when you see your common room for the first time, when I don't want to spoil the point, but there's a lot of just different instances where it's like, wow, this is amazing. I've always wanted to do this in a game for Harry Potter. Like this is what I've always wanted. Also, something we didn't mention, soundtrack slaps. Great soundtrack. The music's fantastic. It makes you feel like you're in the movie with themes and nods to the movie, but also having original things. Great soundtrack. Really enjoyed it. So with that being said, I absolutely love this game. And am I higher than it? Probably the quality of it is. Maybe. But I don't care. That's the point of the game. You were talking about removing yourself from the Harry Potter aspect. I just think that's impossible. That's the point of this. Everyone wanted to be in that world. That's what this is. So yeah, if I have to sacrifice some of those things, some boring quests, some repetitive things to be in that world and just walk around Hogsmeade, walk around Hogwarts, I'll take that trade every day. So my score, that being said, a little bit of a rant. I apologize. I was sitting in the mid 80s. Okay. That's silver. That's silver territory. Solid. I had to get it to a gold because it's just, this is the game. This is the game Harry Potter fans have always wanted, man. I'm telling you, forever since we were little playing Sorcerer's Stone on the PS1, we're like, oh, this is cool. But it was very linear. It was very, this is Harry's story. I want to be in here. I want to be sorted into Slytherin. This, like, I want that. And this gave it to us. So 86 barely made the gold. It had to make the gold for me just because of what I just said. I mean, it's just a dream come true in a lot of those aspects.
This is probably our biggest spread yet.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, where are you at, big boy?
So I hear what you're saying.
Yes.
And I agree with a lot of it. And the thing that I keep racking my brain for is, as a Harry Potter thing, you did feel completely engrossed. Like when we talked last week, it was like, dude, this is great. This is awesome. And I think I'm at the point now where I'm starting to kind of see the game behind everything. And it's making me like it less. So where I feel right now, I'm sitting around like like 79,
Oh,
80 area. Yeah.
wow. Is that still silver?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay,
So
okay.
specifically, yeah,
Okay.
like I think 76 is the last of silver. So like
76,
definitely so like I think there's some play there. Definitely silver. I understand what you're saying as far as gold goes. I guess I would want more substance, or just like a little bit more meat on the bones, because for me it feels like largely it is one giant interactive museum. So like, you know how like certain games, it's like the Batman game, you can like walk around Arkham or whatever, and it's like, here's where we did whatever. Here, remember this poison ivy leaf or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a lot of Hogwarts is like that, which is awesome if you're into it and everything. What I would have loved to see is Hogwarts getting built up based off of like mission, like the classic, like, oh, you went off and killed this troll. Cool. His club's sitting there for the rest of the game or something. Like, I wish I was seeing more of that.
Mm-hmm. Progression.
Is that fair? Probably not, you know? So it's like, I don't think you do anything in that game longer than like 5 to 10 minutes. Like every mission you have takes like anything in the school is like, yep, 5 minutes, here you go, and you're done. With the exception of a few things. Same with like the outside thing. It's like, oh, please kill this wolf, and then you go, you murder the wolf, hop on your broom and back, or you teleport back or whatever. So like, in one hand, it respects your time, aside from the menus, because the menus are insane, and I can't even begin to fathom how much time I lost on menu fades. But on one hand, it saves you time. You can do a lot of cool things. You can actually fly. Like, I was surprised how much you can fly around the world. I thought it was going to be a lot more constrained, and I appreciate that. But like little things where like flying on the back of an animal is like objectively worse than flying on a broom. Just the way it controls and the way everything feels and stuff. It's just like, it's even more sluggish than like your broom and stuff. So like, I don't know. I want to meet you. But if you're talking like gold is like the catalyst, then that's where it's like, like,
Look,
I can get up to like 83, 84 and stuff. Now, here's the thing, and
Okay.
I would be fine hitting gold, because again, I respect it. I do. And who knows, maybe the back eighth of the game or whatever is like phenomenal. It blows my mind on like the story.
yeah.
I don't know.
Probably not.
I'm fully aware that I am lessening the enjoyment of the game from the way I'm playing it. So I don't want to penalize it for that, and I'm trying not to. That's why I'm trying to be like, okay, maybe we do an 86.
Well, here's the thing, dude. I'm being realistic, and it's like and I know we're not supposed to do this, but we just put Dead Space in an 86. Go watch that episode. Spoilers.
Yep.
And I think Dead Space is a better game. Like, the remake was just
For what
tight.
you're
It
trying
was
to
solid.
do, yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. What you're trying to do. I mean, it's little apples and oranges, but I think the execution was a little bit better. I think the quality of it, I think it was just a tighter game, right? And so I'm acknowledging that this is a very personal gold for me, and that might not reflect what the actual game is. But I definitely can't go to 79. I think it needs to be at least in the 80s.
Yeah.
I kind of want to say I'll meet you at 84. Is that too high for
No,
you?
I'll give you an 84.
I feel like it's just
I don't know
solid.
if you look at Notion at all, but originally that's around where I had it.
I don't. I like being spoil free on your.
Yeah. And maybe I shouldn't put that on
because
there.
I spoiled myself once on it. I was like,
I do that more for
Damn it.
myself, where I'm just like, I'm trying to keep
Yeah,
my
no.
notes as I'm going.
No,
It's like,
do
this is the temperature.
Feel free.
Yeah. I could see an 84. Like
I really think it's a solid game. I think there's a lot of great aspects to it.
It is. And like I said, I don't want to detract from that. Like, anyone that likes Harry Potter should absolutely play it. And I think that it's funny because if this wasn't Harry Potter, wouldn't this be Forspoken? Like,
No, I
like,
think there's
really,
more.
though?
I think it would be boring.
yeah.
Yeah, it'd be boring.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It would be a bronze. It would be a.
Like,
But that's what that was
well,
kind
the
of my
combat's
argument.
fairly good. I honestly, I think the combat props
it's
it up.
actually
If
true,
the combat
yeah.
wasn't as good as it is,
Forspoken's combat
then-
was okay though.
But that's what I'm saying.
was the better
is
part of the
you look
game.
at
Yeah,
Forspoken,
yeah.
and it's running around doing kind of meaningless collectathons
Yep.
with magic.
Right. But
It just happens to be a new property.
The voice acting
instead
in this
of
game
a,
is much better, in my opinion.
I don't even know about that.
The
I don't know if I can even get
I think
around
the
that.
dialogue is the dialogue's cringy at times. I think a lot of the time it's like fine.
I will say
Forspoken was like, oh, this is rough.
I'll give you all the main characters.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
So like the main characters largely are good.
You're in Hufflepuff. The Hufflepuff kids are so cringe, dude. I
Not
think you
good.
literally picked like Slytherin people are kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like I had a very different experience.
I think the main characters and like your main
Yeah.
classmates, the main
Yeah.
teachers and stuff. Sure, I agree with you.
Yeah,
I think that,
yeah.
but all the other like voice acting in the towns and all these weird like over the top like, well, hey, what are all these
That guy
moves
made me
going over?
laugh
It's like,
so
oh
hard.
my gosh,
I was like, this is not a real
yeah,
person,
right.
right?
And it's
Like,
just like, okay, I'll give you that. I feel good with 84. I mean, like, look, if you want to take into account the fact that my wife is playing this game and she does not play games and she enjoys it,
It's a
and she was
phenomenon,
loving it,
man.
like, I could see it inching up to gold. Maybe we finish it and then give it like a final solid thing. Right
these
now,
are not set in stone, right?
I
Differing
feel
from
like
our.
I feel like
our
we're both
top
going to
fives.
finish the game,
Right.
Yeah, I feel like I am far enough in that I have seen everything it does.
I agree. I think,
but
same here.
like even the I don't know, main story beats where like you have to do specific things. There's like a cauldron, like if you're doing apples to apples with Horizon, it's like, hey, here's a cauldron. Every cauldron is different.
Yeah, I know.
And there's this one that's like,
Horizon's a better game.
yeah, well, yeah.
I agree. I'm not arguing that. I just think this is solid. I just don't think we should use Horizon as like, okay, well, this is not good because it's not Horizon.
No, I'm not. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
So, 84 then? I feel good.
I'm
about
good with 84 right now. Let's see where it. Let's
Because I
see where it
understand,
lands.
you know, I'm biased. I love this world.
But you
think
should
it's really
be.
cool.
This is your game.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's kind of my argument. Is that's the point?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, this is nostalgic bone. Yeah, this.
Well,
is,
that's why I'm going up 5 points for mine, and you're going down 2.
That's fair.
Like I'm trying to weight it a little bit.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
So I feel good about 84. So
Okay.
there it is. That was a lot of discussion, but it's a big game, so a lot to
Yeah.
discuss. I feel like.
Knocked out. What did I say? Fallout 4.
What?
I think it knocked out Fallout 4 in terms of concurrent player count. It's like the second
Oh,
highest
oh.
next to Cyberpunk.
I thought you were saying you knocked out Fallout 4.
Oh, no,
I was
this
like,
game,
Yeah,
this
just,
game, yeah.
By the way, while I was playing 40 hours of that, I beat Fallout 4.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, what?
No. How many? I mean, that's
Just
the
to
thing
compare
is,
it to another open world.
I would love to know the stat of how many people, like Chelsea, who just they do not play. Aside from Cookie Clicker, you ain't playing a game,
Oh, yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like they're literally buying consoles and
It's
playing. that.
amazing when that happens in the gaming community, right? Like Among Us comes to mind.
Yeah.
Right, where it just totally breaks like, no, this is just
Wii Sports.
Wii Sports.
You know, like-
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That is interesting. Yeah, Wii Sports is, I think, might be in the top 5 most sold games
Yeah.
of all time. Cheating, of course, because it came with a console.
Yeah.
But again, it's like one of those literally
If you own a Wii, you have
anyone
Wii
can
Sports,
play
yeah.
it. Anyone can understand it, even if you don't even like video games, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's all we got. A nice meaty episode for you guys.
To be fair, whenever we're done here, I'm going to go play Harry Potter. Like
Yeah,
I
right.
want to be clear. I'm enjoying the game. I'm going to beat the game. I like enjoy it.
Absolutely.
It's good. I just
Yep. Check us out on all of our things, mainly couchcompany.games. It's our website. We're continually updating it, adding more to it.
I went. I found a website creator.
Oh,
thing.
God. So we're going to be switching again?
No. Well, no, just to to design stuff.
Oh.
So I can like start animating things, dudes. I'm enjoying
wow.
it. It's
You have to pay for that?
no.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Check us out, couchcompany.games. Check us out on Twitter, like I mentioned, at couchcogames. Vote on the polls. Leave us a comment in one of our
Yeah.
food-related tweets.
YouTube is also at Couch Co Games.
Yes, YouTube. You can find all the links on the website. So thank you so much for joining. We truly appreciate it making this far, listening to us rant about fictional wizards and witches. And we'll be here, same time, same place next week. Thanks for joining us on the couch. See you later. Peace.